Live now. Let's see what happens. There it is. Alrighty. We should be good.
I don't see it.
Yeah, we're good. Hold on.
It says you're live, but I don't see. Let's see if I click here, maybe. Can't see it yet.
Yeah, it's there.
Is it? Okay, I'll log out and try it again then.
Hi, all from Scotland. Thugs Conspiracy TV. What's happening? Afternoon, gentlemen. What's going on there, Randall? They're saying John McKULTRA, I guess his name is. My bad if I'm messing that up. Hi, Bruce.
Hi, guys. I'm just plugging on. I'm just getting on.
Yeah, we might have a little bit of lag here, but we're trying to get this thing straightened out. It's not lagged on this computer, but that's what's weird about it.
I don't see live stream. It's like you're not live streaming.
Yeah, it's on. Maybe you have to refresh the page, because sometimes if you're on the page, you have to, like I said, refresh the pages. That's what I had to do with mine.
Oh yeah, I went completely out. I'm completely out, and there it is, just starting now. There we go. All right, so that should be okay. I'll get the background up. All right, so that should be okay. My volume down. There we go. No looping.
No audio loop? Oh no, we don't want that.
There we are.
Let's see. Carl Johan. Hello from Denmark. What's going on, man? Good to see you guys in there. Noodles, what's going on, brother? Hello, Bruce. Randall Tufts.
Okay.
Hello, Bruce, brother. Nice to see you all on here.
Hey, guys. I'm almost there. Yeah, the volume's good. It went pretty well, Chris. I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get a little bit of lag here and there, but I mean, that could be the powers to be, right? It's hard to tell.
That's right. Hi, everyone.
Now, can you see the comments?
Yes, sir.
Awesome.
All set up.
Good. All right. I'm glad we can make this happen, because I'm going to tell you what, I had a heck of a time getting this thing set up. For some reason, every time I went to go connect with the server, it just didn't want to hear it. So I was glad to be able to get this thing rocking here today.
Yeah.
All right. Saying the volume is great. Andy Armstrong. Hey, Bruce.
Hey, guys.
Randall Tufts. Appreciate that.
Randall, love you, man.
Yeah, these guys, I don't know about your subs, but man, mine are awesome. I mean, it just, and yours seem the same way. I've been on your live feeds too, and they're just good people.
I think some of your subs and some of my subs are definitely together.
Yeah, they are.
You're always in the conversation on my, in the comment section. It's awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
Andrew, thanks, Andrew. Connecting with a bunch of people, a bunch of friends. Chris and I talked a couple of times. We just never showed you guys. You know, it's fun. We have a lot of fun together.
Yeah, it was funny because I said when I finally got a hold of you, what did I say to you? Hello, Mr. President. It's hard to get a hold of you. that's like you know.
I tend to think somebody's hiding me, Chris, because that's what everyone else is saying to me. Well, you're hard to reach, but I'm not hiding.
It's like I'm here. You know what I mean?
I'm here.
Let me see here. Regis, he's saying that Bruce, I'm always on your side. Was Mars the home to giants? I don't know. It's a great question. What do you think about that? It says, was Mars the home to giants? I don't know about that. I mean, I think there was like a combination of both. I mean, from what people are saying, right? They're saying, I think there was people like ourselves. And if you look here on Earth, you've got everything from, you know, these small little islands, like almost like pygmy people. Then you got these taller people. Then you got these average size. Could have been the same way on Mars, right? It's hard to tell.
Absolutely. Hi, Regis. I just saw Regis. Oh. Wow, man. Nice to see you. You guys are great. Frack.
Darla's, I don't know why her comment was hidden, but I just made it visible. She was just saying hello to Regis.
See, there's some trouble on mine with Darla too, on my end, when we're interacting on the channel. And there's a couple of my friends that I can't see. Like yesterday, Chris, you came and stopped by to say hi.
Yeah.
To my last minute live stream, and I couldn't see you, and people were telling me.
Yeah, so, it was funny because I was just sitting back and you're going, "Oh, is he here? Is Mars
exactly.
here?" And everybody's going, "Yeah, he's right there. You don't see him."
couldn't. No, but imagine, like, I mean, if it was something important, it really looked like I'm ignoring you. In reality, everyone else was seeing you, but I couldn't see you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Power play in 1979. I don't know if he's taking off or what. See you on the flip side. Might be taking off. Sometimes these guys, I know a lot of these guys got evening shifts and stuff like that. I remember those days. That's not fun.
They're nice to come by. I get some people that come and say, hi, I'll be watching it tonight. No time. I'm going off to work. But it's fun. It's fun like heck that they stop by and say hello to it. Because you have one heck of a community too, man. A lot of views, a lot of support and traffic. That's really good.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what I'm saying. It's good to have like-minded people like ourselves, like your group as well as mine. And everybody's just looking to say, hey, maybe when they put on a video, a live stream, whatever it may be, they're just like, it's almost like looking through like treasure. Like, what can we see next? And that's basically what it comes down to, right?
It really is. And the community, each time the community talks, I didn't know how I was going to do the live streams. And that's what I'm doing now is just people are bringing up subjects. And sometimes we can linger on a subject. Sometimes we can stay off.
Yeah.
Nice to see you, Regis. So nice to see Regis. These people have been with me for, like Regis, just for an example, 2.5 years. Yeah. So that's freaking awesome.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I've got people that were right from the day one since I've started there. And of course, your stream, your channel only gets better, right? Whether it's better quality, the better quality content, so on and so forth. Exactly.
We learn so much. My community teaches me. I actually do more research now because my community makes me look dumb sometimes. They know a lot.
It's like, oh, Bruce, you missed something. And it's like, oh, what? I mean, my subs do it too, and they're going, Chris, how did you happen to miss this object right here in the picture? You totally bounced right over it. And I said, well, that's why we're all here to look at it, right? We're all just a bunch of eyeballs looking at these pictures. This is the reason why we give you guys the links, so you guys can take the pictures yourselves and rip them apart.
Yeah, like myself, and I'm sure yourself in the community, when I go over my own videos the next day, sometimes I said, darn it, I didn't mention that. There's things that you can't see everything. It's impossible. And that's the whole idea of the camouflage. I imagine it must be a similar effect on Mars. And
absolutely.
I haven't looked at a lot of pictures on Mars. I haven't looked at a lot of stuff. But I mean the effect, the blinding effect of the surface and everything's all smudged out. I hate that.
Absolutely.
I hate that.
Let's see.
Mandy. She comes by to check the videos, and I appreciate her for sure.
Oh yeah.
She'll be here to check out your vids.
Absolutely. Hey Nick, what's going on? Love both your channels. Thanks. Well, I appreciate you jumping in there, man. As always, Nick's been around for a long time too, man. These guys are just like boom, hardcore, just stick with you and good people,
Yeah. Thanks a lot, Nick. Dave Jones. Chris, from your videos, do you think, Chris, the technology is more advanced on the moon or on Mars? Than on Mars, sorry. What do you think, Chris?
I don't know, because if we are talking about other beings, how do we know? I mean, is it possible that they can jump from any planet or moon that they want in the solar system, which I would assume they could, right? So I don't know. Would it be one and the same?
It's hard to assume, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just like, was the civilization totally separate from the moon? Is it
you know what I'd guess?
Is it the same people? I mean,
I guess, and that was a great question. I guess that I would guess that Mars, I'm taking a guess. I feel for some reason it has more humans. I would see more human beings being there doing secret projects than on the moon, maybe. Maybe I'm wrong. It's a feeling.
I mean, I see what you're saying. I think personally, if it's any of us, it would probably be on the moon first, right? Because it's the closest body to us.
Like we went further, like we'll go to Mars because, like, okay, the moon's occupied, we'll watch them from Mars.
We can do that too, yeah. I mean, it's possible, but I look at it this way. I mean, to me, it's just like, well, if these beings are going to occupy the solar system, right, before we were able to actually look out to the moon. I mean, obviously you can look at it, but I'm saying as far as telescope-wise, many years ago, of course, there's a lot of ancient civilizations that claim they used to look up at the moon and they could see flashes on the moon and all kinds of crazy stuff. So,
what do you think of those ancient civilizations, Chris? Do you think they're more advanced? Could they be more advanced, you think, than ours?
I don't know. I mean,
hard to say, eh?
I mean, you got these, when you think about what we got today, we got all this technology, right? But is technology meaning you're more advanced? I mean, look what they built back in the day when you've got these pyramids. I mean, you go into the Giza Plateau, these pyramids there, try to push a razor blade in between these blocks. in the Great Pyramid. You can't do it, man. You just try as you may. You're not gonna get. You can't even get a blade of hair. It's just like boom, right through the. You can't get anything in there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
And to this day, they're not crumbling except for the outside, right? Because there's an exterior that was actually removed. There was like this golden, trying to remember if it was a soft stone kind of thing. That was on the actual. Well, they had caps and stuff like that on the top of these pyramids, but. So I mean, these guys, were they really that not tech? Did they really not have any technology?
You don't have the proof, like I said, but it makes you wonder. It really does make you wonder. It really does. Thank you, Mandy. I appreciate that. Hey, Johnny O.
Other galaxies. Oh, I'm sure. Like I said, it's. I see a lot of people telling me. I don't know if you've heard this either, but. Bruce, but I mean, there's a lot of people that say, "Oh, no, you guys are all crazy, you're delusional. We're the only people ever. That's it, Earth, and that's it." I'm going, how can you be that close-minded? I mean, when I look up at the stars, man, I just go, okay, what I'm seeing just with my naked eye, I mean, I'm not seeing anything compared to what's out there. It's so vast, and to believe that we're the only planet that ever existed in the solar system or the galaxy, in the, for that matter, what? Are you kidding me? I don't think we even need science. We don't need all kinds of crazy things to go out there and look into space just to say, just look at the stars, man. It's crazy, the stars and all the planets. I mean, it's crazy how much there's possibly. I forget what the equation is that they had done. Was it the Drake equation? It was. There was like I don't know how many thousands of planets that's capable of having life. And now, like I said, I've said this more than once. They had a couple of photos of the galaxy and the universe, and they're talking about the Hubble, and the Hubble is looking at this small area. It's like this big, and there's like hundreds, if not hundreds, of freaking galaxies in this one area. And they claim that's like just one grain of sand on our beaches. Oh my God, are you kidding me right now? So yeah, I don't believe that for a moment. That's it.
You said it with the naked eye. You can see it with just the naked eye. Absolutely.
Yep, exactly.
I wonder why the clouds in our sky yesterday all looked flat underneath, as if you took a slice. Oh yeah, I noticed that too, Darla, and you are in my end at the same time. There were flat clouds, different types of clouds, and it was a very low pressure ceiling. I'm not much of a weatherman, but sometimes the clouds, you can touch them, right? They're low. Low.
There's some real high ones and low ones, right?
But they were flat on the bottom and they were puffy on top, just like UFOs, right? That's what they were looking like.
What was it that, let me see if I can get this. I'm actually running two computers here, guys, so bear with me here.
Yeah, he's on Facebook, YouTube, and a bunch of other places.
Okay. Carl Johan was asking, Chris, please ask Bruce to explain what his biggest anomaly discovery. That's a good question.
Wow. Team Signal. I think the biggest discovery is I'm mixed up between the cloud formation and the actual activity. And when I say activity, I have no idea what it is. It's flashing lights, mists, cloud-like objects that we're seeing them. They could be UFOs. It doesn't mean it's life, but it gave me an idea of maybe there could be some kind of creature. We're all looking for aliens in buildings or humans. What if there's some kind of stuff flying around? And I relate that to the tether incident. That's what fascinated me. My biggest is that there's stuff moving around that reminds me of the tether incident. That I'm seeing it small, and the tether incident on the video they were showing it big because they're obviously in space. That was a good question.
Yeah, absolutely. Rolando Alves, hello from the Azores. What's going on? Glad to have you in there.
Hey Zappa. Thanks, guys. Never alone. We were never alone. I agree, Robert. I totally agree. Weekly Hangout telescope on the moon, like PK does. I would, but I honestly, I'll take 2 seconds if you don't mind, Chris. I don't like doing the live streams outside on the moon because I don't have access to any of the zooming or, you're just looking at a gray moon, so it's very far away. I don't see the utility in filming a moon at all that way. I find it's, I don't have the best area. I have so much noise here, and you just can't see properly. There's no zooming in. You can't zoom in. Some can. PK can, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know. I don't watch the channel, but I think he can zoom in. So he has a good setup that he can actually do the zooming in, I guess, whatever, right away. but I don't have any functions on the telescope. It's just a focuser. I do everything on the programming on the software.
I would imagine you could do it though. I mean,
Yeah, I'm going to be doing some tests this summer for sure. Like to see what you guys. But the thing is like there's a lot of you guys can't imagine here in the field where I am the sound of the crickets at night.
oh yeah.
I mean, I'm telling you, but I still will do the experiment.
Mm-hmm.
But I need some programs like you, Chris, a bit to get into doing the live streams. I think just simple programs or OBS, so that I can do the live streaming. But I do promise my crew I will do at one point a session, a test. It's getting nice now, anyways. The moon's back.
Oh yeah.
It's a coming.
Well, it's it's that time of the year. I don't know about up there in Canada, but I mean, it's a time of the year where like basically Mother Nature's bipolar, right? I mean, now she's starting to straighten out, but before she was like still go down to the 30s and be straight up in the 80s, at least around here. And I'm thinking to myself, what is going on here, right? So finally, it's starting to get clearer, but it still has them rainy days, 2 or 3 in a row, and where you can't get out and look at the moon, you can't go out and do anything, and it's just lousy. But now it's starting to get to the point where it's starting to relax a little bit. It's starting to become more stable as far as low temperatures and high and stuff like that. So
270 days, Chris. 270 days over. Here in Canada, there was an anomaly that the first day, 20-degree day, we haven't gotten it yet. I don't think we're close to so many days.
Mm-hmm.
It's the most. It's screwed up. It should be a lot nicer. And I still have a coat on outside. It's the first day that I've opened my windows today.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's freezing. It's freezing down here.
Well, I'll tell you what. Right now, it's 90 degrees Fahrenheit right now.
Oh, are you serious?
Outside my window, man. It's like I got the AC pumping over here. It's like central air. It's like, oh my God.
Wow.
It's getting pretty warm here. I mean, it's it's not like being in Florida, but it still gets pretty hot.
Turned the heat off this morning. That's the first time I turned the heat off this morning. Getting some sun in. Memphis, Tennessee, Ohio. Hey, Randall. How's it going, bro? 82 in Ohio, says Mort Platt. Geez, you guys got nice weather. 760 degrees in Vancouver, BC.
Jesus. That's a good
I
question.
believe it.
UFO shill, do you guys believe they are in contact with other intelligent civilizations currently? I do believe so. And like I said, I've had the show that I had done where, in fact, there's a video not too long ago I had done where it talked about the space treaty and stuff like that, and it actually says there are a few people now from Earth that are in contact with these people, and they're basically saying, listen, you guys need to straighten your act out. There's so much more out there for you guys, but it's kind of like this misfit planet that they're just waiting for everybody to straighten their crap out so that we can say, okay, now you guys are now worthy of getting into the neighborhood, so to speak. We don't mind that you guys jump from planet to planet, but you will not bring any nukes or anything like that out into space. You will not do that. So pretty crazy stuff, man. I believe they absolutely have been in contact with them for years. In fact, I think it goes back to, I'm going to guess, even 40s and 50s.
Me
so
too.
I'd say at least that, if not earlier than that, because even ancient people talk about
I agree
beings
with
coming down. So absolutely.
I totally agree with that. It's when did they meet is what's fascinating me the most. You say when could they have met, and I tend to think like you. I'm going to say the exact same thing you said: 40s, 50s, and maybe anywhere. I'm going to take a guess from 10, 20, 30 years before that we don't know of.
Oh yeah.
So I've heard one of my sources tell me that the Pentagon said that the end of the 1800s, they declared that they knew. People on Earth would have supposedly known that there was structuring objects on the moon.
Right.
Oh, but these things are they're in the air. They can't be proven. It's written, it's hidden, or whatever. But I believe it. I definitely believe it.
I think Darla liked that. She said, Mother Nature is bipolar. No way, she's tripolar. Good one. I like that. Yeah, she's a little mental at times, but I think she's getting her act together. I think she's starting to be a good girl.
Hey, Shar. Thanks, guys. You got a nice crew, Chris, here.
82 in Ohio, Mort. Well, we just dropped down about 89, but we're still right around, hovering around the 89, 90 degree mark, and yeah.
Hey, that is pretty warm.
Yeah, it gets a little toasty. Not too bad.
Yeah.
I was tired of the cold weather. Last year we got beat up bad. I mean, it was just relentless. It just didn't want to let go. And then we went from winter, wham, summer. There was no spring. I was like, what the? I
Pretty
swear to God, it's
crazy. And you
yeah,
guys
it's
in the
crazy.
States have already had more tornadoes, or is it the earthquakes? I think already twice as much as last year that they were saying. That's concerning a bit. They were
Yeah,
talking about the storms and stuff. It's pretty incredible.
yeah. You know what I
Wow.
wanted to ask you? Just so you know, a lot of the subs, my subs, may not be familiar with you. So I was wondering, give a quick bio on yourself, and we'll just run over it real quick because, like I said, obviously your people know you, right? And a lot of my subs are your subs as well, but some of them may not know you. So, what would you tell them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Sure. I'll take a quick time to say that. Started out with a 4-inch telescope, which is one of the small telescopes you can actually see, if I'm not mistaken. The Astromaster, just a very small 3-inch scope. I started off with that one. And, Chris, I have the 4-inch. Then I
There you
went to
go.
the 4-inch, but this one has 1,500 millimeters. Um, Wound up with a 14-inch that I have now. And why? Is because I was trying to capture an image of the surface of the moon as close as I could. I found the first thing that happened is I did see lights flashing before I had a telescope. And I knew, like you said at one point, Chris, with the naked eye, you could easily see that there's something going on out there. And went and got my telescope. I found a unique way of presenting the work, which caused a lot of skepticism. A lot of people,
Oh yeah.
which is normal, but it's I invert the photos to show that the difference, because the telescope gives us a crater with a bump on it. And if you take a camera, it's actually inverted. It's the telescope. They say that causes the caps that we see at tops on the craters. But when I invert it, you can see a lot better. So I tried. People told me raise a fundraiser to get a big telescope. I had amazing support. I got the telescope, and now we're finding actual movement that we don't know what it is yet, but signs that could possibly be even constructed objects, whether machinery or built, whether old or new, and of course whether alien or human, we don't know. But I've been doing that ever since. The support's been coming in, but I've been having a hard time to get out there. Like
Yeah.
like a lot of other channels. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but
Sure.
yeah. And trying to connect with other astronomers, I'm not liked, so I don't. Now I wait till they come and say hi. When they come and
Mm-hmm.
say hi, I say hi. I tried to connect maybe a bit too fast with people. Some are overwhelmed by my editing's different. It doesn't mean I'm right. It doesn't mean I'm better than anyone else, but it's different.
Right.
And not everyone appreciates it. But from there, started talking out to people, channels like you, man, doing interviews and just trying to, connect, trying to find out what's going on different channels and news, and that's about it. Finding stuff every day. Studio realism. Thank you, Johnny O. See, there's a difference, guys, with the sizes. A lot of channels are showing the same things, but people aren't understanding the depth or how close. It's hard to tell how close you are in a picture to another picture.
Yeah. Exactly.
People are telling me, "Come on, zoom in, Bruce," and it's like, "What? What are you saying?" Oh my
Zoom in.
gosh, I'm so close. It's hard. The closer we get, the blurrier it gets. That's what happens, right?
Yeah, your photo will break apart. Your resolution will go to crap on it, and it's tough.
Exactly.
But
Oh yeah,
I mean,
I pull out. I try to stay out, not go in too close.
well, yeah, that's the key because I try to do the same thing on mine.
Chris,
Um,
with me though, when you zoom in, Chris,
mhm.
like at home, I know you do it. You didn't even tell me I know you do it. Like before presenting the work, you say, "I'm going to show it here," but imagine if I showed it here. Like
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You want to get as close as you can, right?
You see more details. It's blurry, but you see more proof, more
Right.
connection.
Well, I think a lot of people are going. I don't believe a lot of this crap because I'll believe it when I see a clear photo. And I always tell people, I remind them, listen, keep in mind that they didn't want you to see some of these photos. As far as the Martian ones, they didn't want you to see them. So what makes you think you're going to see a crystal clear photo? You're just not going to see it, right?
No,
So
exactly.
it's I feel it's my job, and a lot of other people are doing it too. I'm not the only one doing it, right? And you've got these people are trying to convey it, and the problem with it is you're trying to clear it up and clean it up as much as you can, but it's hard to do that with a piece of crap low res photo to begin with, right? So
Sharpening. I have a hard time sharpening, Chris. I can hardly sharpen my photos.
Yeah.
because
Well,
of the
it depends on how close you get too, right? So you kind of like you get so close, and then you go to shopping. Oh, it just goes to crap on you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
because of the haze on the moon. The closer I am, you sharpen it. The structuring or objects, natural or not, will get sharper, but so will the haze, and then
Right.
it pixelate,
Right.
total pixelation over the image. So
Well, I got to tell you, man. I mean, I remember I forgot exactly what video it was, but there was the first video you came out, and when it came out, you were literally zoomed in on the lunar surface, but you weren't that close. You were kind of you could see the clouds a little bit. And the first time I seen something flying, I went, "Oh my God, this guy's so on to something right now." And that's when I subbed to your channel, and I said, you know what? Because here's the thing. Let's suppose for a minute people are bashing you a little bit, because I think you even said that about, if you zoom right in, you're trying to show the structures. What difference does it make if it's a structure or not? Because here's the difference. When you see something flying around, or things flying around in formation, or they're ducking underneath and coming out of these craters and stuff, doesn't it kind of go under the no crap category that there's probably structures on the moon and below it? So when I first seen that video that you showed, I went, oh my God, this guy is right there. That's the money shot right there. If you can continually do that and find these things, I don't know if you guys will agree on the OU subs and everything else, my subs as well as yours. What would you like to see him have? Show more of these things flying around, or would you rather him trying to dig out and try to find more of these structures, or both? To me, it's like as soon as you see something flying over the lunar surface, right off the bat, I went, hell, I don't even need to see a structure there. I don't. You just don't need to see it. Because clearly these things have to go somewhere, right?
Yeah, they're coming from somewhere too.
They're coming and they're going to somewhere. So clearly these structures of some sort, right?
Thank you, Randall. There's life on the moon, they say. I believe it.
Yeah,
exactly. During a trip years ago. He's still there.
Bobby Crypto, Chris, do you think the aliens that were or are on Mars are the same ones on the moon? I don't know. To be truthful with you, like we were just actually talking about, I think we touched base on it a little bit before. If it only was technology, do you think the technology was different or they're more advanced? I think if it's like us, we're now spacefaring. We're trying to get people out there, trying to go to Mars and go back to the moon. I think it's like 2025, whatever it is. China's trying to go sooner than that. But you've got Mars and you got the moon, and you go, well, if let's say we get so good at traveling in space, right, to the solar system, why wouldn't we visit every moon, every planet? Why wouldn't we do that? So, yeah, I think it could very well be the same beings. And if let's suppose for a moment, there's more than one civilization in our own solar system. How do we know that? Again, they're just neighbors going back and forth, and then they're looking at Earth going, guys, you sure you want to be the ones that talk to these guys? Because, yeah, I mean, and I said that. I was being truthful. I said, can you imagine just you being an alien and you want to come visit this planet? Well, these guys are just newbies kind of thing. They just learn how to walk, and all of a sudden you look at the planet and you go, these guys are totally barbaric. I'm not going anywhere near that planet until they grow up. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of great and good on this planet, but there's still a lot of work to be done, and they're just saying basically, stop your warring, man. Stop being at war with each other. Come together and just be a human race instead of, oh, he's the colored race and he's that race and so on and so forth. Let's come together as a race, and that's what they're looking for. At least that's the way it talks about in the treaty,
Absolutely. And the fact that aliens, Chris, people all say, what if they are not of physical beings? I mean, or what if they don't have physical stuff? Like maybe, we put our drinks in bottles and stuff like this. Maybe this is all magical, spiritual, like they don't deal the same way. I've heard
they're more energy kind of thing.
Right. And I've heard some of them, like, what's this thing about them not having genital parts? I'm sorry, I don't sleep very well at night when I heard that. And you sort of wonder because we got them, Chris. They want them. They want our babies, man.
Yeah, there's a reason for it, right? It's got to be something.
Theoretically, but yeah, I mean, think of it. It's scary. First time I found out that supposedly an alien race did not have any parts, I was like, oh my God.
What? How does that work? Unless they make them. Maybe they make them the hybrids or something, How do you know?
They're coming for the men. That's what they're doing. They're coming to get us. But there's so many possibilities, right? So many theories. And but it's that connection. Who made the connection? Was it good? Was it for war? Was it for slavery? It could be. It could be so many things. Look at all the people here.
You're right there, Terry Martin. Yeah, I believe there's life on a lot of the planets, and I believe you're absolutely right. And just because people think, they think in the human sense, oh, can't be any life on this particular planet because there's so much gas that's deadly to humans. Correct, humans.
That's right.
That doesn't mean a life can't adapt to certain gases. It can't. To what may be deadly to us may be absolutely completely normal for them, right? How do we know?
Like Zappa says, he's just shag the aliens. Thanks a lot, Carl. I love talking to Chris. It's my fault we haven't. We should have a long time ago, and I've been going through so much stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We should do it more often. I hope we will.
Yeah, he finally caught the stream. Yeah, you did. Jumped right in there. And this is the reason why I wanted to make it a little bit earlier, right? Because there's a lot of these guys that have to work the next day, like myself and stuff like that. And I'd rather make it a little bit earlier. So if you're on for an hour or two or whatever, and people are not going, oh my God, it's like it's 3 a.m. I don't want to see that happen either. I'd rather see them come on in a comfortable time.
There's a lot. I get a lot that come on and tell me that they missed it because of the hours. That's why I tried to do one for the evening. Now I have people from France now coming over. Man, I'm so happy the French people are so supportive, and I'm gonna have to do more live streams. But it's the time change, eh? Like Paris, 6 hours difference.
Right.
It's 5 hours difference. I'm not sure, but I think it's about 11 o'clock in the UK right now. I'm starting to learn all the times.
Well, it's tough, isn't it? Because, I used to talk to my buddy there, and I keep forgetting that he was I think he was 13 hours ahead of me, because he was in, Australia. Because he had moved, he was born and raised in Europe, in the UK, and then he moved over to Australia, and I think his brother still lives over in the UK. But and I was thinking of the UK, and I'm thinking, okay, I'll see you later on around this time. He goes, well, no, dude, that'll be like 4 o'clock in the morning for me. I'm like, oh, dude, I keep forgetting you moved to Australia, so it kind of really messed me up. You're talking the next day, right? You're literally the next day. So it's like, what? Let's see.
A lot of people, a lot of show, eh?
Oh, do you see Satsuki Bonsai? You see his question or his comment?
I just see that now. Cabeus Crater. That's another one. And I write them down usually because there's so many people that ask me, and I go by what you guys say. And honestly, I haven't checked it yet. I couldn't even tell you where it is.
Well, there's only 8 billion craters, right? So it's a little tough to get
that. Because I look back at my footage. Sometimes, obviously, I've been over the whole moon. It's just I don't know all the craters. And some of the craters, thanks Satsuki, some of the craters are not mentioned because they're mentioned, but you can't see them.
Yeah,
tell
exactly.
us close enough,
Yep.
So it starts getting in, and I have been doing it with the new telescope. I'm starting to see the little craterlets around Copernicus and other craters.
Right. There's a little one right there. It's actually, isn't it partially in and out of it, or is it right inside?
Exactly. That's what I'm seeing. It looks like it's in and out of it.
Yeah.
That's where I'm getting that massive line, Chris. A line going to light sources. And
I'll tell you what. If you can get it where, well, it's hard to tell because sometimes you got different photos in the way they turned it from the LRO. But right around Copernicus crater, you can see structures all over there. I've done videos on that, and just the things that are just standing. You get these hexagonal kind of shaped platforms with these things on top. Really? That's
scary.
Natural?
That's scary because that's exactly what I'm seeing.
Yes.
A stop sign with plates.
Right.
I showed a triangle the other day. And I mean perfect triangle on a stop sign plate, a octagonal plate.
Yep.
And you can see them. You can definitely see them.
Oh, they're there. And here's the thing: is what's crazy about it. You can see that this is from the LRO, and like I said, you can see some crazy things. Now, when you can look at it yourself and confirm it, well, there you go, man. It's right there in your face, right?
Thank you, studio. You guys are awesome. I'll be looking at this tonight. I'll be sitting down. I'm going to look at all the comments because I know I miss a lot of comments. You guys are awesome. Thanks a lot. Poor Chris has all these monitors up there. He's got a wide setup right now.
Yeah, like I said, I was telling Bruce earlier that I said when I was in my other house and I had this little man cave, and I got this bench. It's probably about 4 or 5 feet wide, and I got this computer with 2 monitors. Got another computer, separate computer on there. You guys might even see some, from what I'm seeing, you might see a little lag here and there, but you got to understand, I'm going through this one little modem that goes from the main one, and it's probably just eating up every bit of bandwidth possible. So. It's not the computer itself. The computer actually works pretty well. It's just it's probably really lagging it out.
I do wear an aluminum hat, Darla.
Well, you got to, right?
No, I don't. But you know what, Chris? When I get headaches, I don't even take a chance. I close the windows and I just stick it on, shut up 5 minutes. I said, if it helps, it helps.
Hey, whatever works for you.
Oh,
let me see.
Hi, Sarah.
Let me see here.
You got a lot of cool people stopping by here, Chris. Oh, Cindy Lou.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think what I like about the community is this. There's a lot of like-minded people like ourselves, and what are they doing? They're doing the same thing you and I are doing. We're trying to find the truth. Exactly. Now, I tell people all the time in my videos, listen, I may be totally off base when I see something and how I describe it, but the whole idea of it is anomalous, which means it stands out from the rest of the surrounding area, or there's something that's being covered over to make it look like a mountain, a butte, whatever it may be. Yeah. So, yeah, but this is the reason why I asked them, please tell me what your thoughts are as to what this thing may be, because we're all on a learning curve.
Absolutely.
Just because I'm doing these videos doesn't mean I'm correct about everything. So I try to say, people, listen, give me your thoughts on it, because I want to know, because sometimes these people point this stuff out and I go, I'll be damned, I never even seen that.
Yeah.
And it's just the way they describe it. I'll go, wow, and I'll look at it a different way and I'll go, I'll be damned if they're not right. And I'll have to redo the video over. I'll just do part 2 to it. So it's a great community where everybody's trying to find the truth, and that's the bottom line. And everybody just gets together and tells us, the thoughts on it, and then everybody learns, right? That's what you do. It's almost like there's a round table discussion. Everybody's just kind of like sitting there going, well, I think it's this. Well, you might be right. And then they get a collective thought going, and next thing you know, everybody's like, well, I disagree, but I agree, and whatever. That's what it's all about.
That's how the governments make their decisions, man. There's a bunch of tables, a bunch of smart people around the table. Can we say smart? But anyways, there's a bunch of people around the table that are talking to try to make solutions, and that's exactly what we're doing. And I get some researchers, and that's what I call them. It's not a community. It's a researching community. And I get some smart people that do work in, and you must get it too. I get some people that actually work in labs that come and tell me, well, I agree or disagree, but some are really helpful. Some you can tell that there really are some smart scientists coming by that are interested in some of the channels, and it's pretty cool to see them going at it.
Well, Natural Libre, what's going on, man? Good to see you in there.
My friend.
And this was funny because, and then you get the people that are, you get some people that are kind of harsh about it. It's constructive criticism, one thing, and that's cool with it. But then you got like these guys, I love it because you got these people go, man, you need real glasses. You need better glasses. I go, well, let's see now. I got a 4K monitor, slamming computer hooked up to it. My glasses are banging right on there. It may be your computer. How's that sound? Or whatever. But,
I'm actually blind, Chris. I can't see anything, but I wouldn't put my glasses on because I don't want anyone to know.
Exactly. That's like, I'm not. What are you guys talking about? Just because I walk into things? No. No, I actually don't need. I don't need glasses to be truthful with you.
This is my glasses. That's what I got.
It's like, man, he can actually see the moon without even looking through his telescope with that.
Yeah, just walk outside.
The funny thing about it is, like, people go, oh, he needs glasses. No, I don't. They're just reading glasses. So it's only up to the monitor. And what I do is I got certain strength for the distance of the monitor. So this way it's absolutely perfect clarity. And the stuff is there.
I have an astigmatism. I actually, I don't know how young I was when I had gone. They'd given me glasses for an astigmatism in my left eye, and I never wore them because they were giving me headaches. So I'm going to wait till I start going blind a bit or start having problems, and I'll just put them on.
Yeah, when you start walking into doors and frames and stuff, you might want to get glasses.
Yeah. Or when I start posting flying birds, calling them UFOs, well, then my community will tell me, and I'll be able to get some glasses.
Jackie Chile 007 or 007. Hope you're doing well today. Great to come home from work to a stream with you and Bruce. Well, I appreciate you guys being here, man. It's great to have everybody.
I guess somebody hears me as an echo, I guess, because my volume is almost off. It's just to say that I can hear Chris. I can't even go lower than that. Somebody's hearing an echo, I guess. I don't know.
Well, that might be on my side, too. Let me do this. I'm going to go ahead and turn mine down just a little bit. Because it may be actually coming through the speakers and just kind of going through the mic. So I'll just get a little closer to the mic. Maybe it'll help. Let me see here. That might help right here a bit.
There we go. How far are we from each other? I wonder how far we You deep in the States, Chris?
I'm over here in West Virginia, the tri-state area. Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia.
I don't think it's too far, I guess, from Montreal, right? I don't know, a couple
It's
hours.
a little bit of a drive. I wouldn't want to walk it.
No.
I mean, it's, man, I don't know if you were familiar with Amazon KC. She lives up there in Canada as well.
Yeah.
And she was doing videos like this too, which is awesome. I love the idea that women were starting to get into it because,
Yeah.
her job got in the way and everything else, and she
there's
had
a
to work, and
couple
it
of
kind of got in the
online.
way, But it is what it is. She's a great person, and a lot of people miss her. They're like, oh my God, I wish she was back and stuff like that because she was doing great work.
It's fun to see the sky, Chris, from different areas. No matter what experience you have, if you go outside and you like taking pictures of the sky and you see something anomalistic, or is that even a word? Something like an anomaly in the sky, it's nice to share it because it gives other countries the view of what's going on, and sometimes we can see things, That's what I want to see, is I want to see people's skies. I want to see outside. I want to see what's going on, I'm stuck here in my country because I'm being targeted, so I have to stay in my yard and camp in the yard.
Stay in your yard, will you? Stay in the house.
Yeah.
Suzuki Banzai asks again, can you tell Bruce this? Cappy's crater is located in the South Pole, or on the South Pole. This crater is shown in the leaked images from NASA that shows very clear, distinct square structure. So, and I was going to say, I thought it was more to the south.
Oh, I got that crater before, I think, but I'll be checking that. I showed a recently square one. I think I did, but I'll be definitely checking that. Thanks. I jotted it down. I love looking for craters.
So is this a lot better? Is he getting a little bit of less echo, guys? I'm seeing I turn my mic down a little bit.
Yeah, it should be okay. What do you think? Hi, Teresa. Thanks, Teresa, for stopping by. The Chris Darla, my eyes just confirmed that the echo is gone.
Well, see, that's what it is. I mean, I got
so Darla's a problem.
Speakers that are right there. Yeah, the computer speakers are right there. The little, I got the little cube Bose speakers right there, and it's like they're not even 2 feet away from the mic. So drop the mic a little bit should help a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, Suzuki, go ahead and share the link. Can I have the permission to share the link? You go ahead and drop the link, and I'll okay it and get it on there so everybody can see it.
Sure, great.
I prefer to do that. I mean, here's the thing. I mean, I've got people coming over to me and say, hey, Chris, I got my own channel. I've got this. And what I'll do is I'll check the channel first, and then I'll go, okay, it is definitely worth watching. Go ahead and jump on it, and everybody can just have a look, because I think it's only fair to widen everybody's
that's cool.
Nice audience kind of thing. And
that's very nice of you, man. Absolutely. There's so many channels out there. Wow, look at the beautiful people coming by here, man. And dropping
yeah, absolutely.
Witness a lot of them, too. So a lot of them there. Hi, Shar. A favorite find. Oh, actually, Shar asked that. Well, do you have a favorite find? What's your favorite finding, Chris? They're asking us each favorite finding ever found in your research, I guess.
Oh my God, I don't even know where to start.
There's
so much of it because I don't know. These guys are saying my audio is a little bit lower. It should be a little bit lower than it was, guys, but it shouldn't be too bad. But let me know if it is. And this Scott there is telling me to turn it up a little bit.
Thanks, David.
See, if I turn you down or my speakers down, then you actually drop. But I can do this. Let me do this. I can straighten this out. I'll just turn the amp itself down, not the computer.
I want your microphone, Chris.
So you should be fine now.
That's a nice microphone.
Let me know how that sounds, guys.
Hey, I could pretend I have a microphone. I could set up something here to look like a fake microphone.
There you go. This is fake. It's made out of a Pepsi can. Let me see. All right, it's better, Michael? Okay, cool. Like I said, I just turned the amp down. I actually got a separate amp for my computer, so I just turned it down and I left the volumes alone.
Yeah, I think we're getting good feedback. That's a good way to get them to comment, Chris.
Yeah, really. What you do is you put a squeal in your mic.
I did that the other day. I asked them, I said, let me know what time it is in your area, guys. Pow, 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 pow.
4 million people told you? Yeah.
It's cool. Yeah, it's like 4 a.m., 2 a.m., 12 in the afternoon, midnight, all these times jumping around.
Now, to get back and answer the question, what they asked about what was my favorite find, it's more of a hole, meaning a picture, than it is an actual anomaly. And what was funny about it is when you look at Mount Shop, now I've done videos years ago on Mount Shop, but now, I mean, they've been all along Mount Shop to begin with. I mean, they were supposed to settle down. It's about 1.5 miles right to the base of Mount Shop. Then they're supposed to go along the base of it and then climb up the mountain. It's supposed to be 10 miles total. Now, what was funny about it is when you look at these things, all of these items seem to be all lined up. Now, they want to claim they're buttes. They want to claim that they're mountains. But when you look at them, and I always made this analogy, it looked like a used car lot They literally were like this, all parked on the side of each other, literally in a row. I'm going,
Yeah.
now, wait a minute. I live in a mountain estate. Now, I don't live in a desert, of course, but I do live in a mountain estate. And I've seen buttes, and I've never seen them like that. And when you can see is like 90-degree angles inside these particular buttes and mountains, makes no sense, man. So when you start to really analyze those photos, I'm telling you right now, they're actually there looking at an ancient civilization. What happened to that planet? A big catastrophe happened, and that's what they're there for. They're not looking for building blocks of life. Come on now. Like I said, that was seen back in 1975 when they had the Viking lander there. They're there for much more than this, you know?
Well, like you said about a couple minutes just before we started, Chris, when we were talking, setting up, you said you highly doubt that they've been going there year after year to pick up boxes of rocks and bring them back.
Yeah, I mean, come on. It's like the moon. I mean, they're going there, like I said, you got Apollo 11 to 17, and, so these guys go there all the time. They're constantly going there. Okay, I get the first time. All right, we're going to bring back these moon rocks. To me, that's a PR move. It was bull to begin with. They seen something on that moon. They studied it. Once they got the larger and larger telescopes, they then sent the LRO. It's kind of like when they sent the MRO, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, right?
Yeah.
You got the LRO goes to the moon, looks it over. It scans it, literally scans the whole thing, puts it into strips, right? So now they analyze these things. They see these huge structures. They see everything else. What's your first thing you do? Guys, we got to get there. We got to get there. So what do? Apollo 11, they go. The Soviet Union back in the day, they didn't want to send a man, or they were going to, but they didn't. So they ended up sending the Lunar rover. And there's been more than one. There's several of those Lunar rovers, and they were like an 8-wheel electric drive rover. And they could take pictures and everything else. Kind of smart if you think about it. We don't have to worry about anybody dying. We sent a probe up there. It drives around, takes a bunch of these pictures. And by the way, look it up. This thing drove for a good distance on there.
Long time.
So when you stop and think about it, you go, okay, I get the idea they're going to look at moon rocks. Okay, we're going to see how old the surface or lunar surface is of the moon. Wait a minute. You tell me that's all? Now, I don't know if you guys have seen this, because I know my own subs did, but if you look at my one of the videos I did recently, where it had the Apollo 11 astronauts had come back, and they had that press conference, and I said this. I said they all look like they lost their parents in a bad car crash. They literally were standing. You can see them in the video going.
It looked like they had been raped.
Oh my God! I mean,
it looked like they were traumatized.
They did. Listen, think about this a minute. Suppose you're an astronaut. Any one of you guys out there. Suppose you're an astronaut, and you're waving to everybody here and there. Okay, bye. We can't wait to go there and all this other stuff. Thank you and for the support. And then they get on there and they get there and they see these things that are not us, meaning structures, crash craft. I've seen what looks like crash craft on that moon, like it's been there for millions of years, and so they get there and they see these things. What would be your first impression? Other than crapping yourself, what would be your first impression? I'd be frightened.
I'd text my wife.
I'm not coming home, honey. I love you. So you know what I'm saying? So you see these things, and then you come back and they go, oh, by the way, a little debriefing for you. You're not allowed to say anything. If you do, you and your whole family would disappear. So this is until you die. You're not to speak a word of it.
So, Chris, if they ask them when they're up there, that's what I'm wondering. That question that you just said, I imagine sending them there. And the astronauts are sitting there, yeah, we're going to go see cities. Yeah, right. And then they go like, Houston, whatever, yeah, okay. You are not to mention anything you are about to see. And then the guy just goes, oh my God, imagine him. Listen, there's the mist and haze on the moon. If they went to the moon, they are definitely interacting with a being or they witnessed nature down there, very different than what is being told, because there are different layers of smoke, natural or not.
Oh, absolutely.
Clouds, and that's hiding it. Descending levels, lights. It's impossible to see the surface. That's why it's so hard to see it.
Yeah, these, like I said, these guys are not there. And then they went back another 6 times. What? For what? Let me guess, more moon rocks, right? A couple of that one box of rocks wasn't enough. Let's go up there and get more. They're spending millions upon millions of dollars, taking the chance of these astronauts dying, getting all of these brain pans together to build these capsules to go up there. Yeah. Make this. You ought to see the video about the lunar buggy. You ever see how they put that together and how they got it up there?
Chris, I know
it's insane.
The man that built the lunar buggy, that worked on all the apparatus completely to the lunar buggy. I'm going to tell you one heck of a good one. Do you know where the original one was? You know that was in a barn not far from here?
Oh, is that right?
The guy, I know the family. He died, unfortunately, and I knew the the girl, I won't mention her name, a family member that knew someone from NASA that worked on the oxygen packs of the very famous Apollo landing.
Right.
And he had a grade 8 education. He designed the blueprints and everything, which he was still a smart man, though, because back in the days, grade 5, 6, 7, they were smart. They still had their fields. But guess what? Quick thing. 2 things that I was able to get get a question back from this guy, Chris, an answer. The suits were soaking wet.
Right. True.
Soaking wet, and they were filled with dust.
Right. I wonder why.
Yeah, I don't know. But that bag of dirt is not that far from me here. Imagine that. And I told the person, if ever you were able to get me a sample of moon dust,
yeah,
even a tiny sample, do you imagine what the consequences would be of someone analyzing that? And for the guy, the scientist, to say, this is from the desert in Nevada or something like that. It's like, what?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, when you these people, like the ones that doubt it and everything else, they never went to the moon. If you ever look at how this thing, first of all, there was, I don't know if it was, oh man, who was it that actually won the winning bid for that thing? There was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 of these companies that they set out, they said, okay, everybody get together. Yeah. We need to have your best plans to build this lunar buggy. And what they did was basically, if you ever seen it, it's goofy as hell, because I've been actually touched the thing at the Kennedy the Kennedy, what do you call it, Space Center. You can't literally touch it, but you're right there, right? It's basically, it looks like lawn chairs, like beach chairs, on a lightweight aluminum frame, electric drive, that's what they are. And it was to be as light as possible. And if you ever seen the way the thing was made, the wheels literally folded up, the whole thing went up inside on the side of the capsule. And when they pulled the drawstring, it literally came down and opened up.
You could have literally broken half of the baseball bat. Literally, that's what.
Well, I don't know, because the thing was built strong now.
Yeah,
the thing was built strong,
but it did look like paper. I agree with you. It looked like paper.
Well, I'm talking about the actual lunar buggy itself. Now, as far as like if people are talking about that, it's kind of like that Kevlar that, like, if people say, look at the tin foil on the side of that thing. There's no way in hell that thing flew. It's like that was the cargo area. Had nothing to do with the astronauts. The astronauts were up in the top where all the cargo was on the bottom. It doesn't need to be airtight. Nobody gives a crap about it. Yeah. So that's what was funny. I mean, if you ever see that thing, the way it's built, you're just going to go, damn, there was so much brains in this thing to put this thing together was insane. It was just cool.
Darn right. Devon Island, I've heard of that before.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to lie about it. I have no idea where it is, but isn't that, I think they were talking about it recently, I thought. Thanks. Darian Croat, Canada.
No, James was saying earlier, he was saying that, Chris, many people out there believe that the Mars rover is on Devon Island. What are your thoughts on that? And can you disprove that the rover is not on Devon Island? It absolutely is. However, it is not the one that's on Mars. You know, a lot of people misunderstand that because they go, oh, I've got pictures of it. I mean, I can prove it. And you're right. It's not a secret. It's not a secret.
There, I think you're right.
It's testing grounds. Yeah, and it's always been like that. They've got they got these other little robots too. They look like miniature rovers with cameras on them and stuff like that. And what they do is they put them through the harshest, harshest temperatures and weather possible, because they know there's such a huge temperature swing up on Mars. It can go anywhere between like 198 degrees below or 98 degrees below friggin' zero, up to, it's been up to 104 degrees in the shade on Mars. Why? There's nothing to filter out the heat. It's got an atmosphere. They can breathe on it because there's magnetic parts of that Mars that is still actually functional, meaning it still has a magnetic field in certain spots, right? So as long as you're there, you're protected from the radiation. So they can actually go to Mars and actually survive there. But the thing is, what people don't know is that there is testing grounds on Devon Island, and I think, what was the other one there? There was one that was really big. There's several other areas that are testing grounds. I mean, that's not a lie, and it's not a secret. But they want to say that the actual rover's there, and it's not. You could just tell the way they got this thing up there. Again, if this was a desert here on Earth, think about this a minute. If this was a desert here on Earth that they're literally driving this thing around, why take a photo? Just take a photo with just rocks in the area. Why would you have to manipulate or obfuscate anything out if it's natural ground? Let's say it is here on Earth. If it's completely natural, you wouldn't have to manipulate it, except change the color of it, right? Makes common sense. But yet they are there. We're seeing these objects. I know a lot of people are seeing, well, I'm going to say man-made, but intelligently made objects. And what they're doing is they're trying to fudge these things out. That's why it tells me it is actually on Mars, just like we have the astronauts who are on the moon.
Absolutely. I think Devon is used as a front sometimes to spoon feed misinformation. Makes sense, David. And I guess, hi Nate, troll close. I guess the fact that Chris putting some misinformation out there, it makes it harder for you to see the truth. Like instead of taking out the truth, we'll throw in and just add some other theories. So it's like making a choice at a game show. You got 4 choices, the real one's somewhere, but you don't know which it is. So the truth is in front of us. That's what I believe. We could see everything everywhere, but there's misinformation thrown into stuff. And it makes us fight like a bunch of goons. We're fighting and fighting. And some people just don't. We just, it's a cycle. We just turns, we loop, fight, and then other stuff happens and more misinformation.
You're right there, David P. Yeah, they did some on Iceland as well. And that's what I'm saying. They take these things in the harshest climates on Earth and they just run these things rigorous. And, you know, of course they got one in California. It's kind of like their own Mars testing ground. If you ever seen that video, you can see these things literally climb over boulders that are probably bigger than your torso. I mean, this thing is literally, you see the middle wheel just kind of climb up and over this thing. And it's only going like, it's at a snail's crawl. But if you watch that video, it must have like a rabbit button on it because that thing can take off. I mean, they literally hit it where the thing took off. I was like, holy shit. So, pretty neat.
Thanks for coming, Kyle.
Jay Dempsey was asking, Chris, Bruce, what got you guys into UFOs? I've seen UFO eye level. What got you into that?
Well, I've experienced UFOs, seeing them, and when I say experience, I've seen UFOs come very close to me without landing, and all my life I've had those encounters, and I found out that I'm able to actually, you know, when one's around, I can actually get their attention. I'll be doing some tests with that this summer about the UFOs, but I see them out there. I definitely see them, and I know there's some. Sure, there could be some satellites, but satellites don't stop, and they don't flash left and right and come back in place. So with the naked eye, you know the truth. Just without using a telescope, you know the truth. You know that something's out there. But going to see with a telescope, there's definitely UFOs between Earth and the moon, and there's UFOs on the surface of the moon. And when we say UFOs, well, we're talking about anything, debris, vessels. I'm just putting everything in one lump sum. But the UFO fleet I found the other day, I don't know if you got a chance to check that out, Chris. I mean, there's no doubt about it that there's 7 or 8 of them in a row, those lights. So there's definitely something up there. That's for sure.
Well, you got to keep something in mind too, to people watching. Where you look at, let's say you got your telescope looking at a part of the lunar surface, right? What would happen if a satellite that was going around Earth went in front of your telescope? It would be so fast, it'd be a blur. Think about it. You're literally looking at something much farther than where the satellite would be. So it'd be like, you wouldn't even see it.
Hey, Chris, okay, I got to ask you something. You just mentioned that. Now I'm really happy you did, because get this. The next video I'm going to put up, bro, after you and I talk tonight, you must have heard you guys about satellite flaring. Maybe you heard about another thing. It's just quite simply, they say that you'll see the satellite is a dot, and then in the center, when it gets in the reflection of the sun, it flares up, then it flares down, and it keeps going. But now here's the thing. You just mentioned something really important. These things are traveling at thousands of kilometers an hour. Mm-hmm. So I see that crossing in my screen for a minute.
Right. That's how you know the thing's far away. That's how you know it's not from around Earth.
Well, now you see, that's what I wanted to mention. That's very smart, because see, I just saw one a minute before it that was a lot bigger, but it only took 5 seconds to go by. And it looked like it was coming to me because it was closer to Earth, and the other one that I saw was so far away. And it was actually traveling fast, but we're seeing it travel slow because it depends on the distance, scale, and size.
Well, the analogy you can use is picture yourself standing away from a busy road, okay? Let's say you're 400 feet from it. You're going to see the cars kind of go by. Now I want you to stand right there on the side of it. The cars would be flying by you. It's the same thing the satellite you would see around Earth. If you happen to be looking at a certain part of the moon, all of a sudden one of these satellites, keep in mind, the regular satellite's cruising around 17,000 miles an hour. Okay, that would be like, it'd be so fast, but yet you're seeing things just kind of gliding along. That's how you know these things that are a distance away, they're on the moon. That's not here around Earth. And that's what people need to understand. It's all perception and distance-wise, you know. Again, standing on the side of a road, even a quarter mile away on a busy road, you're going to see cars going like this, just slowly going down. But they're doing about 75, 80 miles an hour.
Perception.
Now get up to the road doing 75, 80 miles an hour. Watch what happens. And people are flying, you know.
Absolutely. Well, that's why I integrated the parallax. I've heard you mention it before with many terms about it. The foreshortening, the optical illusion that things are lying down when they should be standing up. They say it's the parallax or foreshortening. But when I see it, like when I see an asteroid or meteor appear in my infrared camera, the cool thing is sometimes you see it appear and it's going from left to right, Chris. But sometimes I see it appear, it flashes, and then it seems to be like coming towards you, but it's out of context with all the stars around it.
Right.
That means it's in a different, we're seeing it in a different parallax, so it's not in deep space. It could be closer.
Much closer, right.
Earth's atmosphere. And I'm studying that. It's going to take me years to understand that completely. I'm still studying that. But it tells you, by studying that, now I'm able to look at something going by and to tell if it's more of a satellite or if it's more of a debris. We see spiraling rocks. They're small, but we still see them. We see them small, but it's still cool to see them spiraling around. Hello from France. Bonjour la France. Blue Utopia. 1964 Sleepy. You got some friends coming by. Thanks, guys. Mandy. Raw photos yet instead of AKA man Bruce, have you posted raw photos yet instead of 4K vid stills? I don't post stills, bro. People that steal my work post stills. I thought you showed us one the other day. Posted raw photos? Well, yeah. Well, what do you mean by raw? Do you mean by raw with my camera? I only show raw photos. Absolutely. The raw format, if that's what you mean by the RAW raw format photos. It's straight up photos. I don't use filters. And I don't contrast because I'm too close. And like Chris said, if you're too close in an image, you're very limited with anything you can do, any sharpening, especially not stretching out the photo because then you're really screwed. You can't do anything with it. Yeah, Kyle, raw files, absolutely. I absolutely do. I have a lot in my collection here. But everything that I'm getting, I am showing online, and I'm actually trying to show you guys in a better quality than what YouTube usually puts up. So by me putting out in 4K, or I'm always producing in 4K, YouTube, it's okay. It's not 4K, but you know the videos are a bit better than if it was just HD or. But yeah.
Most computers anyway, if you try to watch it in 4K, it'll lag if you don't have something really fast anyway, or good bandwidth. Yeah. So it's hard to do that anyway, even if you're 4K, unless you got really good, bandwidth as well as good computer and everything else. You can do that, but a lot of times it's tough to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for the question, man.
Hey, James Earl Cash was saying, Chris, I heard that the Mars rover is using Tesla technology. Could that be why the Mars rover has been able to survive on the red planet for so long? I'm not sure about that. I mean, keep in mind this thing was put up there, it was on 2012, it got there. Now, keep in mind that this thing is actually powered by a radioactive isotope. If you look on the back of the rover, it's got this like barrel type thing with these fins sticking out all over it. That's the actual power plant where the Spirit, Opportunity, both of them rovers, I call them the sister rovers because they were identical. Those were actually solar powered. This is the reason why one of them took a dump, and then now just recently the other one took a dump. Had a big sandstorm, covered the it covered the solar panels. They didn't get lucky this time. It didn't uncover it. So it just gets to the point where the batteries just deplete too much, and there's just no coming back from it. Basically, the Curiosity rover, the wheels and everything will fall off it before that radioactive isotope actually completely dies off. It basically is decaying, and that's where it gets its power from. It's like 150 watts supplying that rover. So yeah.
Wavelengths of water moisture. I like that question, Michael. Tech for amateur astronomers to take out wavelengths of water moisture to see under the haze. That's a beautiful question, my friend, and I'm just looking into that right now. And I would say yes if I try to take an educational guess. I would say definitely program wise, software wise, maybe filter wise, maybe a device itself, but definitely looking at into a bunch of new things, even infrared. Gonna have to invest in some beautiful new infrared. So, oh no, we got a lizard here. Beautiful, beautiful force. When you're researching, hey Chris, there's nothing that can take that power away, that energy, the force, the love.
Nope.
Nope, there's absolutely nothing that can do it. But we get some jealous people sometimes. But it's
You're
not.
gonna get that. You're gonna get that no matter what. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah.
Like I said, we were talking about this, and we won't get into too much of a depth because we've been pretty much neck deep in it for a while there.
Giving names, Chris.
But
Listing
yeah, I
names.
mean, we're not going to get into all that because that's not what they're here for. But you know, you get, like I said, my buddy Will from What's Up in the Sky 37. When I first started out, he goes, "Man, you're doing a great job and stuff like that." He said, "But be careful." I said, "What for? What's the big deal?" And I'm thinking he's going to say, like, the men in black are going to come knocking at your door or something. He goes, "No, what's going to happen is the second your channel starts to blow up, you're going to get all kinds of trolls. And I'll be damned if he wasn't right. And you're feeling it too. You know, here's the thing. I mean, there's a lot of good people out there, and then you got the people that are saying, you know what I want to do is I want this guy to just stop because either you're in competition with them, or you got more views than them, you got more subs than them. I look at it this way, like yourself. I hope you end up with 5 million subscribers. Why do I care how many you have? I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm doing my own videos, you're doing yours, everybody's doing theirs. Why does it matter? And you know what? I hope as many people as possible can see the videos like I hope they see mine, right? Because they're after the truth. They want to see these new things and stuff you're going to find and uncover. That's what they want to see. And I'm the same way. That's where it starts from me, and it starts like that for you. And I always said, if any channel is genuine, then I'd back them 100%. That's the way I feel about it. And if they're garbage, then, people say, hey, what do you think about so-and-so? I don't even want to get into it. It's just like, I don't have time for it. You know what I mean? It's just like, you're just stirring the pot up, and it's like, I'm not here for that. I'm here to show the people, my findings and stuff. And I'm sure you're the same way. So, you're going to run into these people. It's just the way it is. You just got to take the good with the bad. Remember I was telling you earlier? I said, it's funny. I was watching this video, and I started, I subscribed to this channel. And it's a girlfriend and boyfriend. They just kind of fly in a plane. And they go to different, like Hawaiian Islands. They go different places, different parts of the States. Yeah. And it was one guy. Like I said, there's one banana in every bunch, right? There was, the guy goes, hey, I just want to let you guys know I'm a long-time pilot and that I love the way you guys work in sync. She'll radio the tower. You're flying. She's doing checking out, different things on, your navigation system. I have 30 years flying. So, I just want to let you know as a fellow pilot, you guys are doing great. There's one guy in there out of, I don't know how many, said, man, this is awesome. I love your channel. One guy goes, who gives a shit how many miles you got on, you've flown? Or how many hours, rather. I'm sorry. How many hours? What? I'm just like, I'm blown away. This is not even anything to do with Anomalies, man. This is just a simple people. And if you've seen the channel, it's a great channel because they're just having a great time. They give you a view that like you're flying and everything else. It's just cool, right? It's just these people come out of nowhere, man. It's like you could be Jesus himself doing videos, and they're gonna go, man, I can't stand this guy's his sandals are ugly. Buddy, why don't you get a haircut? What?
I love that.
It's just like it's mind blowing. You can't please everybody. You just can't do it.
Like I said, the guy separating an ocean. I'm just trying to show a UFO on the surface, not even comparable. But they killed them. When you think of it, I think by us watching everything in history, Julius Caesar, all these people that were emperors that we saw, they showed us in the movies how they were adorned, how they were loved, and everything.
Right.
It ends off that the more you're popular in life, either the more they trash you or the more violent your death is.
Exactly.
It's like, oh, if you're going to be lucky in this life to be rich, well, we're going to hang you in public town, or we're going to stab you as a bunch of people. It happens. Some people get stabbed by groups of people.
That's right.
That's all.
Yeah, Satsuki, just to answer your question, I will be doing more photos of the moon. I love the older stuff, by the way. I love the older LRO photos and satellite photos, as well as a lot of the Apollo photos because there's so much hidden in there, right?
Oh, get them out, Chris. We'll compare definitely.
Oh, it's crazy the stuff you can see on it. And I've seen people, some independent other people doing research, and I'm just blown away by what they're finding. It's like I said, it's like if you could look over your house right now, but take part of your lawn and drop it on your roof. What would you see if you flew over it? Your roof would blend into the ground. And I think that's exactly what's going on with the moon, because I looked at that one time watching one of your videos, and you were down like this looking at the surface this way.
Yeah.
And what I found was it looked like you could see something almost straight edges coming down, and it looked like there's like a lunar pot on top of it. Does that make sense?
Yes, and that's why I'm trying to show it. The low angles are
weird as hell.
Yeah, the low angles are showing us those levels, but it's white. So the object, it has the same reflectivity as the surface, and you can differentiate it. But along
so hard to do it is.
Yeah, along the terminator line, we get that elevation, the shadow, and I guess the shadows or darkness goes and sits underneath the structures, and you can see them very lightly, but you can still see them. People want
they're under there.
We'll start getting it clear, but we can't. It's step by step. I mean, maybe we'll never be. If there's
the funny thing about it is I got people asking me, hey, Chris, can you zoom in anymore? I said, if I zoom in anymore, I'll break the computer. I mean, I literally have it at 500%, or as far in as the thing will go. And then, you get in, it's same thing with like anything like Photoshop or anything like that. You go in so far, it's like 500%, and then that's it. You can't go anymore. Then you get that grid pattern over it, and you can't do anything with it. So
because when they see the surface, they go, well, there's nothing there, man. It's like, it's crap. I want to see clear. We can clarify, but we're not going to get under that.
Yeah,
we can see.
It's tough to do. It really is.
Yeah. Bruce and Fran, please give. Hey, John. Einstein was considered a plagiarist by all great scientists in his time. He was used to misdirect science. Some people say that. Some people talk about Einstein's theories that he was actually. I've heard that he was a double agent implanted to actually cause misinformation. But I heard that. I got a picture of him here on my wall. I love the guy. But yeah, they're in a lot of controversies. I guess some of these guys. Yeah, smash that like button, you guys. Encourage Chris. I had fun at your last live stream, Chris. You had a good group your last time. But Chris, when he comes to my live stream, I can't see him. So I don't know. That's not too good. I'm going to have to try to fix that. Will the moon's backside ever face us in our lifetime? You know what, Jay? If you don't mind me answering, Chris, I think it possibly could. They're talking about the shift, right?
Yeah.
I'm still undecided on whether that shift is occurring over a period of 30 years, if we're seeing, or is it going to just flip over? I think Corey Good and a bunch of people that I'm not really following, but I don't have time. But I think Corey Good mentioned that he believes it's going to be a 1-day thing or a 3-day thing, that it would completely flip over. But hang on, it's going to flip over. It's not going to flip on the dark side, though. I guess it would just turn, right?
I would think.
Locked in place.
It's hard to tell, though.
Yeah, it's hard to tell. But when you look at the weather changing, it makes you scared. It makes you wonder. I, for one, guys, I believe that if I'm 44 right now, I believe that at 80 years old, there will be a palm tree here. It's going to be a complete change. I mean, it's going to be, and then years later, the water is going to become salted on this side, and it's a shift. I believe it's going to happen. I don't believe it's going to happen in a day, though. I tend to think this is going to be something over many years that's going to happen. Maybe there'll be a couple of, like, at the last minute, maybe it'll be 3-4 rough days. Sure, but I don't think it's going to flip in a day. We die anyways. If the Earth is going to flip in a day, I mean, oh my God.
Yeah, it's not going to be like, it's kind of like this scenario, like that movie, The Day After Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where it's like everything just kind of changed and it kind of just either rotated or just Mother Nature went haywire, right? Yeah, I don't, but that took a while because it basically cleansed itself, and then of course they had to start over and everything had to thaw out. It was like the new ice age, so on and so forth. So pretty wild.
The cycle, I guess. Hey, I guess that's what would happen, eh, Chris? When you think of all the ancient things that we're finding, because sometimes we find ancient technology. Yeah, go ahead, man. Sometimes we find ancient technology, and it's objects that seem to be more advanced than we are in ancient technology. Like you were talking about the stones, not being able to put even one of your hairs between one of the stones.
Bye, FTM. You're all done. Anyway, continue.
No, go ahead. I missed it all.
No, it's just there's somebody on there being belligerent, and it's sad that you got to have people attacking other people.
Oh, for sure.
There's no need for that.
He wasn't attacking me, though, was he, buddy?
No, he's going back and forth to all the other good people, and just ain't got
He's
no time for that crap.
Okay.
Take a hike. Go back to the romper room channel where you belong.
Exactly.
I don't need it.
It's all jealousy. It's because you're a good channel, bud, and it's because you're trying to reach people. And it's sad, because you're trying to be open-minded. Hey, we're going to disagree, but it makes a good show. That's what researching is. Colleagues can disagree. Friends can disagree,
Yeah.
But it doesn't
mean, that's the thing.
If I'm not going to disagree and create a circle of hack rings and try to enter your computer to try to actually take you down.
Right.
Some people are playing that way. That's what some people are doing, I guess. But it's the difference between wanting to show truth and, I guess, trying to get recognition. A lot of people just want the recognition, I guess. They want the title, I guess. Not putting words in anyone's mouth, but there we go. Childish. There we go. That's a good exactly.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing, though. I've had people do that, and the second they get belligerent on my channel, I just push them off there like a dead fly. Because to me, negativity breeds negativity, right?
Absolutely.
So, and you got a lot of good people wanting to share their thoughts and stuff like that, and they just don't want to be on the channel when they got a bunch of people like that on it, and it just creates havoc. And I'm just, I don't stand for that.
Say to yourself, the channels that are doing it are the channels that do not post daily. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
You got plenty of time to go around and, I guess, troll other channels. I was more of a direct guy. Like if I have problems with the channel, I try to mention it. It's not always, the community doesn't like crap, I know it, but I try to be honest with them. And I have to admit, I was very lucky because I could have lost my community this week with all the silly things going on. But I just see positive in it, that's for sure. Nothing wrong.
Yeah. There's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah. Thanks, Shar. I appreciate that, Shar. Yeah, we're working hard, us researchers, that's for sure.
Now, I think it was, I'm trying to remember who it was now. But they said, what do you guys differ on the moon? When you look at the moon, like you and I, what do we differ about as ideas about the moon? I don't know if I differ at all. I mean, there's not a whole lot of difference. I mean,
no.
I don't have a larger telescope like you do, so I don't see the surface like you do.
No, but don't forget you have the LRO. You have the pictures satellite. In reality, you got amazing pictures in reality. And
I mean, when I look at it, I see, like we were just explaining earlier, it looks to me like, again, if you were to picture your own home with your surrounding ground on top of it, it looks like, from above, maybe it's the way they hid from everybody, their enemies, or they knew at some point people on this planet would get wise to what may be up there, but you still can't see the actual structures unless you really look sideways into it. And a lot of people have been showing these, and there was one that was next to Copernicus crater, I think.
Yeah.
You see all kinds of what looks like structures, but they look like they're almost like a hill with an opening in it. Not just the shadows, because there's a lot of them with shadows, so don't get me wrong on that. But I mean, it looks like there's ways to get in it, and they're all facing the same way. And some of them are bigger and smaller, but they're perfect the way. It's hard to explain, but it's just crazy.
That's true. They're all you said you're a smart guy. You said they're all facing the same way. These are little things that I get mad that people don't notice. And listening to you talk, I know that you've seen for a long time before me photos close up because you're understanding for you to look at my work and understand that you're seeing it at a low angle and that you're seeing sideways. People look at my work sometimes and they say, well, what is this manipulation of a surface? No manipulation. Right. It's straight up surface. But we need that. That's my train. I'm sorry. It's going around my house. We have.
I get when it comes back here too, man. It's loud in hell.
Oh yeah, it's far enough. It's still far enough, but I hear it. That's the first time I have the window open. That's why I'm hearing it.
John Thompson, Bruce and friend. I seen the structures there. They are there. So there's other people that have seen them. Whether they're looking at the photos or they're sitting there joining you with your videos, they're seeing these things. I mean, absolutely. And it's like I'm not the first person. You're not the first person. There's so many people that have seen things on the moon that just go, there's no way this is just lunar and natural.
Yeah. Well, we're going to have to do some comparisons, Chris, with some of the moon work you did, because I know for a fact a lot of your community come on in my community, in my comment section, and tell me, did you check out Chris's video on the moon about that crater? Because you do have some videos on the moon, good ones. But apparently, some of your community is saying that I'm really finding some of the same things that you were looking in the satellite pictures. Obviously, I'm a lot further because I have a.
Right.
But there's some similarities, and look, we're seeing Mars red. I mean, the moon could be red. I don't know why we're not seeing. I tend to think that maybe it's too close. Maybe that's why we're not even seeing
Well,
color.
I've seen people ask me that too. They're going, because I showed the actual colors of Mars, and it's a lot like Earth
Yeah,
when you're next to the planet. Now, a lot of people go, oh, it's a bunch of BS because I could look at that. I could look at Mars right now, and it's absolutely red. You're right. However, if you were to get up to Mars, it's kind of like this planet. What is the majority of substance on this planet? Water.
water. There
Okay,
we go.
now, if you
Blue.
were to pull away from Earth, it's still a blue planet. Now, what would happen if you had just lakes and not vast oceans like we have here on Earth? It would look, when you pull away, it would look a lot more, reddish, because you wouldn't see the bodies of water and stuff like that.
Thanks,
Blue
Blue.
Utopia.
Utopia. Awesome guy.
Really good job, Chris. Thank you. Appreciate the support, man. Keep going. I appreciate that.
That's
Um,
important. That's important what you just said, man. No, go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want
oh
to
no,
cut
you're fine. Because like I said, I mean, when it comes down to
the color.
yeah, the colors. I mean, the first time India put out it was the Mom. They call it the Mom satellite.
Right?
It was the the Mars orbiter. I forget what the heck else they call it, but it was the Mom they call it.
I'm
And
so-
the first photo they took, all I do is put it in Photoshop. Now a lot of people laugh at it. They go, "Oh, that's such a crock." And I said, "No, let me prove something to you. You take that photo of India when they did it, and I did an auto color, and did auto tones and stuff like that, or you could do it manually."
Yeah.
And it basically comes out slightly better than the auto. And guess what? They said, "Oh, well, that's a bunch of crap. I mean, you're using Photoshop." I said, "Really? Is it really crap? Let me show you something." So I'll take a picture of something that's natural, made outside your house. Take a picture of your own vehicle or something, or a house, and I'll put it into Photoshop, and then I'll hit auto color, right? And guess how much that changes? The auto color doesn't change the house, the car, or anything else. It doesn't change at all. And if it is, it's so slight. But then why was it able to change the color of Mars instead of being all red? Why did it change it to colors like here on Earth? That's what's crazy.
Thanks, Darla. Wow.
Yeah, thank you, Dollar. Appreciate that. Carla, Johan. Yeah, the moon is, the Mom is out there. Yeah, I mean, these, like I said, ask yourself this question: why is there so many countries going to Mars? Even Russia went the end of, I think it was the end of 2018. They launched a rocket to send to orbit up there. You never heard another word about it. Where are these people going? Why do they feel the need to go around a dead planet? What's the point?
Chris, you just talked about the color a second ago. You flipped me out. You talked about the color on Mars, okay? This is what I'm trying to tell people, that when I'm showing underneath the haze, and when I say underneath, no, I don't have a technique of getting underneath. It's
Right.
that given moment, there's one small clearing that I am able to bring the photo up. I'm not actually getting through haze. I'm
Right,
actually looking for
It's just clearing up a little bit.
exactly.
Yeah.
But like you mentioned, when you get close to a celestial object, now there's a major shift. Now you get this, like the red from Mars disappears. Then you'll get this brown. Or then you could even start seeing other less like blues in the sky. Man, from Mars, the rover has thousands of times, I'm sure you know it, and I don't know a lot about Mars, showed a blue sky.
Yep.
The sky around Mars is blue, and some
Yeah.
people
Oh,
still
it's absolutely
don't
blue, yeah.
believe it. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't believe that because they go, no, there's no way. That's a bunch of crap because,
Right.
but here's the thing. I don't know if you guys seen the video. You could look this up. It was when the InSight lander just went to Mars. And what's funny about it is you see all of the people in the control room. They got a monitor on the wall. So when the first picture came up, it showed like what looked like a fisheye lens, but it showed like a bunch of like mud dots all over the screen.
Yeah.
The sky was blue. The sky
Yeah.
was actually blue. Now, I don't know if it was prior. I think it was like 7 seconds after that, they showed that picture again. It was all red. It was like an orangey red color. I said, what? So the very first photo that thing takes a snap of, and guess what? The sky is blue. So, and I went over this, guys. There's a water cycle on Mars,
Does it
and I
rain?
said this before they said it.
Does it rain
There's
on
actually-
Mars,
Huh?
Does it rain, Chris, on Mars?
Oh yeah, it rains. It's got, you can see these cirrus clouds. They've showed it themselves.
Yep.
With the Opportunity rover, they showed it with the Curiosity rover. So
Yep.
you've got clouds, you've got a water cycle, and they showed it all the time. Yeah, it's absolutely. I guarantee there's life on that planet, and if there isn't, I'd be very shocked.
Me too. Absolutely. First pick from Mars, Alien Town. Yeah, I've seen that too. The first pick from Mars. They change, eh?
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what's funny? What I find amusing about these guys, they put everything in black and white, and they give you a low res photo. Why do you think that is? People go, "Why are these photos such trash?" That's perfect. I'll tell you why. Picture having an HD photo, right? HD
Yeah.
photo, and then trying to doctor that up. You would see that so easy that it wouldn't be funny. So there's just no way they'd be able to do it.
I don't want to cut anyone off, but I've been seeing a couple of people asking. I hope some of my friends are not getting cut off by my channel because some people have been telling me I've been blocking them.
That's
I'm
what I'm saying. Yeah, I just saw that too.
I'm really concerned about that because I recognize that channel and I didn't block you, bud. So definitely email me or something. American Rebel.
American Rebel. Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate the support.
Thanks for being here, buddy.
John Thompson. They may be living underneath the dirt, and that may very well be because here's the thing too. There's actually a certain amount of water that's underneath the Martian sand, right?
Yeah.
And this is what's funny. It's actually, you can see sometimes when the rovers would go through the sand, it's literally like a mud. It's like damp dirt.
It's stiff,
And
feels
the
like.
technician, this is what's wild, and you can look this up. The technician that worked on the actual drill, on the Curiosity, now the drill looks like a diamond shape at the end, but it's actually a jackhammer, this thing. And at the end, well, inside it, it's a spiral. So every time it jackhammers into the ground, it pulls up a sample of dirt.
Yeah. It takes
So
a
the
toll
guy
on-
said to me, goes, oh, so he goes, yeah, we got to make sure that this is the scientist or the technical guy. He says, we got to make sure that it doesn't get jammed. It doesn't get jammed up with sand. He goes, jammed up with sand? What are you talking about? He goes, yeah, we found out there's actually a water cycle in Gale Crater.
So
And that this could get clogged inside the drill bit.
So he's the rover's literally driving around in the swamp.
Yeah, well, not so much that, but I mean, they got to watch out where this thing goes. But because it's so much larger than the opportunity and the spirit ever was,
How does the moisture how is there morning dew? Like, I mean, think of it. The morning dew on Mars could be oceans there or rivers. Like, I mean, we're saying morning dew here. I mean, it depends on the cycle of moisture that's around it. Look on the surface of Mars. It looks like you're on Earth. Really?
well, I mean,
on Earth.
here's the other thing. This is what got me going to begin with. When you look at, you can Google this, Hubble photos of Mars. And a lot of them will give you a breakdown of like every other month. So I'm looking at this thing, and like during the cold months, like here, you've got these huge polar caps. And in July, guess what happens? They actually dissipate. They get smaller, just like here on Earth. Okay, my question is, where was that water going? First of all, they said it was carbon ice, that it would actually just turn into a vapor and just go out into the atmosphere. I would say, okay, that's okay. I'll go with that. Maybe they're right.
Could
But
be.
then, where's the moisture coming back to put them down?
There
The
you
poles
go.
back. They said, well, it's because of pressure. Pressure's putting the carbon ice there. I said, no, that's bullshit. And after I seen the water cycle, guess what? It wasn't long after. It was like a year later. They're saying, oh, by the way, there's a water cycle, and there's actually H2O underneath that carbon ice, just like here on Earth. So
Imagine. Imagine. So it's like they're emitting slowly. Why are they slowly emitting this? Is there any because anything quicker is happening, or are they just going through their regular every 50 years admitting stuff? Because I mean, man, they have a space force, the Pentagon, and now did you know the National Guard, if I'm not mistaken, wants to be the backup force for the Pentagon or all these space forces
Oh yeah.
cleaning up
Absolutely.
debris, new satellites
Yeah.
being shot down, space wars. It's getting scary. And it's not fiction, science fiction anymore. This is in the news. This is every day now. It's
Yeah,
getting
but I mean,
great.
here's the thing, though. I mean, when you see Trump and he's talking about we're gonna have the space force and everything else, it's a crock because I don't know if you guys remember, if you're old enough, if you back in the '80s they had already had the Star Wars project. Now the
Yeah.
Star Wars project was already had. They were talking about having lasers on these satellites. They were talking about having like missiles on these things. They already had this thing in place a long time ago. This crap about Space Force is old. It's, they're trying to refresh it to go, oh wow, we need more money for that. And in fact, they already got it. They already have this stuff already out there. Why do you think you don't see a lot of, these photos or live video feeds of what's going around our planet? Because they don't want you to see certain things.
Right. They're asking us for money. The funders, the big associations in space are asking for money to say that they want to explore further out. But in reality, there is, if I was to assume, some of that money is already going to continue the secret projects. Maybe most of that money is going towards secret projects.
Right.
But we don't know what's out there.
And
And
that's the thing,
You
A
know,
lot of people are like, well, there's, we never get to see it. And they made a great point because they're saying, how come when you see a rocket take off, you ever notice that they'll have a rocket facing down towards the boosters, but you never see upward?
no.
Think about that a minute.
And how come it goes? How come it goes? You said actually, I was talking with you. You even mentioned that last time we talked. I know it, but you said it. When the rocket goes up, right away it starts shifting over, and then it's going like this over Earth.
Yep.
Why? It's not leaving Earth that way. It goes.
No,
up
but the thing is,
and
people
travels
make the assumption.
across.
People make the assumption that the rockets go straight out into space. They don't, because especially during the moon missions, they come up, they start to go over like this, and they go around the Earth a couple of times, and then they slingshot.
Yeah.
It's just like a slingshot effect over to the moon, so they can shut the engines off, get up to the moon, turn around, and then use the thrusters, so they save fuel, and then they land. Think about this: almost no gravity compared to Earth. So it takes nothing, hardly any propellant to land on the moon and take off from it.
Exactly.
So, people think, oh, you got these, I hate to get into it, but flat earthers, you see these people going, oh, you can see the thing actually curving. Yes, there's a reason for it. Richard Spratt, thanks for the support, man. Appreciate that. Bruce and Chris, the most honest guys in ufology. Well, we try to be.
Thanks a lot, man. We're trying.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
We're learning. We're all learning together. Belgium. Wow. Hey, Dan. Mon ami Dan. Kyle. Got Belgium watching. Bienvenue.
You got to love that, man. I mean, just like everybody around the world. That's just cool.
It's exciting.
You know what I mean?
I think it's exciting. I think it's beautiful. Well, you know what? It's for, there's so much going on in space right now. I'm getting really excited.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, it's so exciting. Are they going to go to the moon, man? Do you think so right away? Like, in 10 years' time, will a human really be on the moon? I don't
go back. I mean,
here's
the thing too. What was that video? There was somebody claiming that they never went to the moon. Oh no, that wasn't it. It was when they said they lost the technology. It's not so much they lost the technology. It's outdated technology. You had these momentary switches for yaw and roll and now everything's like it's all computerized and everything else compared to what they had back in the day. However, back in the day they weren't stupid either. They had computers on board, but they did very little. All it was mostly sensors. Like let's say you were in Cape Canaveral or wherever you're in the control center. You could see what's going on with the sensors and stuff, but that's about it. The astronauts did just about all the other work.
I see you, Phil. Yeah, confirmed. I can see you now.
Yeah, they're in there.
So much problem. Sometimes I'm not seeing everybody. All I know is whatever's on the moon, Chris. I mean, human or not. I mean, they're gonna have to talk about it at one point. I can't see it going 20 years, but I don't necessarily see it being talked about right away. And when they talk about it, imagine when they first say yes, there is. There's one person or there's a group on the moon. But then just that information is going to go 50 years. People are going to say, wow. So they're sort of stalling us for whatever. But now something's big with Mars and the moon. I believe Mars and Earth, it's all going to be one big shenanigan. Something's going on. They want to pick up debris now, right?
Oh, right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and here's the thing, too. When I said, when I called them out and I said there's water on there, and I said their next discovery is going to be a body of water, and guess what? They found a body of water right underneath the North Pole. Yeah. And they said that the satellite cannot find it if it's under 12 inches in length. Oh, depth rather, I'm sorry. Okay. But yet this thing was like a half a mile or a mile and a half, like in a cavern underneath the actual pole. So it's like, okay, so there is a lot more water on there than they're claiming.
So they can find water on the moon 12 inches under the ground, but the Hubble can't show us the surface of the moon.
Oh, they can. It can. It has. I mean, you can look them up. There are photos of it. However, if you ever notice, though, they look like crap. And it's like, people go, well, you don't understand. The Hubble was made to look way out there. I said, listen. There's no way on God's green earth, if we all got together, we're all in this think tank, right? And I said, oh, by the way, I want you guys to build a telescope right out in space. And I don't want to see any of our planets in our solar system. I just want to look just straight up. No way. Come on now. That thing is perfectly capable of looking at a freaking gnat and a buffalo's rear end on the moon. I promise you. Yeah. So I don't want to hear that crap. And the first thing they did was they said, okay, look at Mars. look at Jupiter, look at the moons like Utopia. I mean, all of these other freaking moons and stuff like that. You know darn well that they could see everything on these planets, and they did it for a reason. And they just made it a lot more bigger, where it can actually look out into space, right?
Yeah.
And it's basically looking through time. It's looking back through time, if you really think about it. So, yeah, I mean, they're not stupid. These guys are the smartest people on the planet, and they're just like, oh, there's no way that thing could possibly look at the moon. Whatever. Come on now. You know, you're not going to build a telescope just so it can look straight out 8 billion years outward. You're going to look at our own solar system. The first thing you're going to do is look at the solar system.
Well, what are they doing with Lucifer, man? Well, like, I'm not talking about the devil. I'm talking about the other devil. And, you know,
Yeah, the
like,
other devil.
the telescope. I mean, would they? I know it's not the Pope that's sitting down with his coffee and doing it, but who's there? What association is there? Is it governmental? Is it another country that's there? Is it Italy itself? Is it like, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense that the Vatican would have this massive infrared telescope, but no news is coming from it.
Right. Well, then they're going to keep it hush. They might say, hey, look, we got this telescope. They're actually building one now. And, you know, I don't know what the Vatican needs a telescope for, but, you know, whatever the reason. But even now, you know, they're actually claiming, even the Vatican saying, yeah, I believe that there could be other beings out there. Imagine that. Imagine that. John Gordon, appreciate it, man. Appreciate the support. You guys are awesome. See, this is like Char's been with me for I don't know how long. These guys go way back. There's a bunch of them in there that just been way back, and I'm sure you've got the same thing. You know, like I said, there's generally good people, and this is the reason why I try to keep the people that are non-good people. I'm going to be really nice about it. You got the good people. You try to keep them away from them because they're just, yeah. You don't want them to have to worry about that crap. Chris Logan, yeah, I like that. Aliens would kick our butts. Yeah, I think. Well, see, here's the thing. A lot of people said that. What happens if we run into aliens, man? It's going to be like Independence Day. They're going to totally decimate our Earth. That's not true. Because if they wanted to do it, they would have done it a long time ago. How easy would it be? Like almost like War of the Worlds or something like that. They can easily decimate this channel if they wanted to. But maybe they're not like that. This is the reason why they're telling us to straighten our act out and stop being so warmongering. And just straighten our act out. And this is the reason why that, you know, maybe they're not like that at all. Maybe they surpassed all that BS and they're beyond that.
I believe it. I'm with New Ideals. Merci, Dan. Yeah, we have to be open-minded. That's for sure. Definitely open-minded.
Yeah, I mean, you have to, you know, I got people saying to me, hey, Chris, what happens if all of these moon photos are fake? Or how about if all of the Mars photos are fake? I said, well, either way, NASA's got some explaining to do, right?
Yeah, that said, why are they ignoring us? Yeah.
If it's the real deal, then and they're faking some of these things, meaning or they're actually blocking out a lot of things, then they got to answer to us.
Yeah.
Of course they won't, but you're on a need to know basis. You don't need to know squat. And then you've got let's say they're faked, and it's all propaganda. They still have to answer to the public. Of course they won't. But either way, you got to look at it. I mean, I don't think it's NASA anyway. I think it's the actual military. And they're the one that dictates, listen, you're allowed to talk about this and you're allowed to talk about that. And I want this stuff covered up, but we want the raw photos that come from the curiosity. And the funny thing about it is I had a guy tell me the other day, listen, I can't even get my cell phone. I lose cell phone coverage from one area to another. And yet you're going to tell me they're getting a signal from that rover to the Earth. No, that's not how it works.
Not just a signal, a picture. Perfect.
Well, no, but that's not how it works, though.
No.
You know, that's what people don't understand. They don't do their research. The actual rover has a highly directional antenna on it, and it's got an omnidirectional. It's got two VHF radios on it, transmitters, and it's got the high gain antenna. It's a flat, looks like a stop sign.
Right.
And it's literally a high directional antenna, highly directional, and it goes up and it hits the orbiters. Once the orbiter is close enough facing Earth, it then transmits the information. It dumps it. That's how that works. The rover is not doing that. It's using it's relaying it through the actual orbiters.
That's an interesting question. Why are rocks from the moon are hollow with rocks inside? I don't know if they're hollow. You mean inside of the moon? You mean N6? Please tell me why rocks from the moon are hollow with rocks inside. What do you think he means, Chris?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Can you explain a little bit more?
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just not catching the question.
Me either. I wasn't getting it. We have Melanie McClendon. Thanks for being here. Oh gosh, I hope we will. I definitely will. If I guess if the community likes it, we're just talking. We're not That's all we're doing, talking
Yeah.
about what we do, and
Well, I
it's
mean, here's the thing. I like interacting. I mean, if you ever been on, well, you've been on mine last time,
yeah,
and I'll try to answer as many questions as I can in the course of time. And that's usually I want to make it an hour, but I can't. And
yeah,
it's not because of them. It's just I love chatting with them. You know what I mean? I love answering their questions because they
yeah.
want to know. I want to know. And
That's absolutely impossible for sure.
yeah,
Absolutely. Well, the rocks. If they're talking about the rocks, yeah, the moon. You know what I never understood is that a rock, if you pick up a pebble in space and you throw it as hard as you can, it's not going to leave the moon. It's going to stay on the moon. Like when I was younger, I used to imagine that you see them bouncing on the moon, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, don't jump too high! You'll be taken away into space."
yeah, exactly.
What is the gravity on the moon? They're saying, it's less, but I don't. Maybe it's more, or maybe it's changing as the years going by. Maybe it's, they say our geocorona from Earth extends past the lunar orbit now.
Right.
Hey,
Exactly. But they're now
wow.
emitting that now. So here's the funny part. So now if the moon's within that, doesn't it make it a
Yeah,
little bit easier to get to the moon?
there
And
you
then a
go.
lot of people and a lot of trolls will love this because it'll totally defeat them. What a lot of people don't understand, they go, well, there's no way they could have got by the Van Allen belt, so that's crap. That's not
Where are
true.
they?
They're not true. It's not true. Near the poles, it's weaker.
Yeah, are there
And
are the Van Allen belts in our atmosphere now? Like now
yeah,
they're talking about the geocorona being past the moon.
right.
So now
So
what?
now, you've got these, they time it where they can actually slingshot through these things. And even then, once, if they were to go through it, it's for a very short time. They
Yeah, yeah.
get through it and they're fine. But what people don't know is that, they say, well, there's two Van Allen belts. No, there's not. There's actually three. And there's the third one, excuse me, there's a third one based on the solar activity. That third radiation belt comes and goes. So they know this. They're not stupid. They're pretty wise to this. Oh,
That doesn't work again. Look at Buzz again.
just throw it on the floor. It'll work better.
I have problems with lamps. There we go. Lamps on. Oh, the sun's getting red. Is the sun red in your end?
No, it's still pretty bright though. It's still out there pretty. That's like I said. It's still 84 degrees here. Man, I have to go out there and get a tan.
Yeah. DL18D radio. I wrote your name down, and I'll go check your channel, bud. To add him back on.
Santatu, I guess it's Desantu. I'm not sure how to pronounce it, but to study the Hasselblad photos, the moon is a junkyard. And you're absolutely right. Based on what I've seen in these photos, some of the satellite photos, you can see what looks like, these crafts
Garbage.
that just crashed onto the moon and just stayed there for millions of years.
Big
And I'm
object.
looking at these things, and what they do is they wash these photos out, right? So there's no detail at all. And what you do is once you enhance it and put back the contrast, you start to see the shadows, and you'll see these objects laying on hills, look like they're just completely, like they just crashed there, never could take off, or just, and is it because it's been there for millions of years? People went there, couldn't get back off, something happened. I mean, just because they're technologically advanced doesn't mean they can't have a problem, right? Think about it. Look how more advanced our cars are compared to back in the late 1800s, and yet we still have all kinds of breakdowns. I mean, I'd rather go back to the 1800s. At least they were more solid.
Send you a message, Chris Blue Utopia.
Hey, Chris, I sent you a bunch of pics on the moon I got from Japanese Selene. Oh, okay, Selene orbiter. They showed the trace of a river. Yeah, I think I did get it. Come to think of it. And by the way, thank you for the support. Appreciate that. Yeah, I think you put on my Facebook, didn't you? I was positive you did that, and I think you might have even, or you put it. I got a couple of them lately, so if I'm confusing you, I'm sorry. It's either through my email or the my Facebook page.
Yeah, same here. I don't know.
Man, I'll tell you what, I get a ton of them. People get mad at me sometimes. They're like, how come you didn't answer me? I'm like, I'm sorry. I mean, there's I don't know how many emails I get. And, plus I get a lot of questions. I do answer on my Facebook page. People send me photos. I've done videos on them. People checking them out, and stuff like that. A lot of times they don't get to see them because it goes straight to me. But, yeah.
Absolutely. Has John Lear given me a shout out lately? John Lear always has. He's made a couple of videos about me. But he's moving. Our John Lear is moving, and he has a lot on his mind. He's 76 years old, guys. John Lear, 76 years old.
Yep.
Hi, Chris. Divine Caitlin. You got so many people coming by here, man.
No, Chris Logan, when you go back to the early, believe it or not, a lot of people don't know this, but the 1893, 1894, they had their first electric car. But you didn't know that.
I heard about that.
They
Yeah.
had cars back in the day. They were steam and stuff like that, and they were hand cranked them and everything else back in the 1800s. But they also had electric vehicle as well. 1894, something like that. Look it up, you'll see.
Even cars in water, eh? Boat cars and everything. They were, back 50s, 40s, 30s. They had a bunch of stuff going on there.
Like Noodles just said, see, first cars were electric, though. And it's true. I mean, and then they went to steam. They were trying to get these things to crank them over and all this other crap. Yeah, the hand crank and all that garbage. The old Model Ts and all that. Model A's, rather. So, yeah. I mean, it's pretty cool when you think about the technology and how it's grown from leaps and bounds. And I tell these to people, I go, just look at what we got now, right? And then I want you to envision 50 years.
Yeah.
50, only 50. Don't have to go back 100 or forward 100 or 200. 50 years. Look at your the regular phone. Remember that back in the day they had the big phone. It was like the Motorola. It had this big thing. It was like 3-watt phone. Thought you were Mr. Big Shot back then. Now they're like, in fact, I got one. I got one of these little watch phones. It's literally a standalone watch, or you can tether it to your phone.
Hey, it's coming back though, eh? Like I remember the phones getting tiny. The last phone a couple of years ago, I was like, hey guys, look, it's almost like a cookie. It's a phone, and you can
believe it or not, come to think of it, back in the 1980s, they actually had a TV watch.
Oh
back in the day.
Yeah.
So if they had that back in the 80s, now I want you to envision the technology, all of the microelectronics. Is it really hard to believe that they had much more than what we think back in even the Apollo missions and prior to that? Think about it.
For sure. Michael Stark.
Yeah, you're right, Michael. Electric motors in cars wasn't the issue. It was the power source. Absolutely, the batteries really sucked it. And they're not much better today, although they're a whole lot better, right?
A lot better, but not much. But like you said, yeah.
Oh, they've come a long way. In fact, they're trying to actually get away from lithium ion. They're trying to use another source where it actually can charge a lot faster, as well as stay charged longer. So on, and it's a whole lot cheaper to make, and it's better for the actual environment. So yeah.
Sure. Think there's any computers or radios? It says CC my Harley D. I would think so. I think there would be cable or television on the moon or on Mars. I wonder. That's probably the interference we're getting, guys. Maybe that's why we can't make calls here because they have cable up there. Probably, I wouldn't be surprised.
I like what Dollar said to you. Hey, I'm not letting them anywhere near my cars. I've got an electric car and I've got a hybrid. You're not going anywhere next to my cars, buddy.
No, yes, Darla. I bust lights, Darla.
Are you going to say the same thing? Last time we talked, his overhead light went, what the hell? It just literally went out on me. I said, you're kidding me. I said, what was that flash? He said, the friggin' overhead light just went out.
Yeah, it went out. And then, Chris, that was our last interview.
There goes that. I'm not talking to this guy. This guy's like possessed and shit. Chris, did you see the crashed UFO on Mars from a few months ago? It has a huge skid mark and half buried in the soil. I think I know which one you're talking about. Is it still reddish though? And it has what looks like a skid mark it kind of went into where it stopped. I think that might be the one you're talking about. Bruce, you must have been abducted. That's what she said. Dollar said you must have been abducted. They didn't probe you, did they?
Yeah, could be.
Oh, that ain't good.
No probing, no.
That's good because I hate to see that happen.
Well, it cleans you out, eh? When they probe you.
Who needs Roto-Rooter?
You're good to go. Yeah. Well, I don't know if I've been abducted or not, but I certainly have I have a lot of problems with digital devices. So that's why I don't fly planes. Because I don't want to be in my plane and say on the dash saying, well, the altimeter's not working, the speedometer's not working.
You're dead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a dead.
Hey Chris, what do you think of the 3 pillars on Mars that are in perfect formation? I think you're saying that was at the satellite photo, wasn't it? I think from the MRO, where it literally was coming down to a certain end. You could see these 3 pillars standing up.
Wow.
I found it interesting, to be honest with you. I think there's more than, if you really look, there's more than 3 or I think there's like 4 or 5 of them things because a couple of them are faint. And I find that really bizarre because to be perfectly almost in a role like that is just, is it possible nature could do that? Sure. Because nature could do some bizarre shit, right? But I don't know. I tend to be on the fence about that. I think it could actually be intelligently made, or it was at one point, meaning, after the catastrophe on Mars, it just literally, everybody said there was probably a big flood on there because of, the atmosphere disappearing, everything going into turbulence. It washed over everything. This is the reason why there's muddle over everything, and it looks like everything's kind of twisted and turned and buried. And this is the reason why we're seeing the objects we're seeing the way they are. Like the last video I just did, it looks like there's a kind of boat or craft or something on its side.
That was a good one.
And it's just wild. I mean, you can see where they try to hide this thing, too, which is
It
amazing.
attracts the eye, right? It definitely attracts the eye. Okay, maybe it's not 100% constructed, but it stands out. It sticks out like a sore thumb off the surface.
And that's what makes it an anomaly. That's a definition of anomaly. It stands out from its surroundings. And now, is it possible some of these things are just some funky-looking rock? Absolutely.
Of course.
The
the
but if you see the
shadow.
way these things are made, you have to understand how these photos are made. And I don't know if people want me to get into it definitely because it's basically they stack the photos. But when you understand how they manipulate these photos and how they've done it right from the word go when it came to before the Apollo missions, because they were already orbiting the moon before then, right? So if you really think about it, the way if they doctored them up then, and I asked people this, if they doctored them up in the moon photos, what makes you think they're not going to doctor up the Mars photos and every other planet moon they go to? Come on, man. That's just the way it is.
Chris, is your sun not going down?
No, I'm still up here. I mean, it's starting to go down. It's definitely going down, but it's still. I got plenty of light. I could be out there rocking and rolling right now.
I call my mother 20 minutes away sometimes, and she tells me the sun's down and mine's still up. I call people like an hour away, half an hour. But the sun's just going down, and they'll send me a picture, and you see it's completely dark, and you're like,
see, that's what that's what they call a season.
Yeah.
Now we're more in the. We actually tilted a little bit, so we're more in the sun now. So
Exactly.
Let's see. Germany needs to sleep now. By Chris and Bruce. Great talk. DL1BD Radio. Well, I appreciate you getting in there, man. Good to see you in there.
And I'll check the problem with the channel, bud, D118B, because I do not remember blocking you. Definitely not, bro. Sorry about that. Waves are radio or some signal. Waves, I think the waves are radio or some signal. Darn right. How many waves or signals can be out there?
Well, they're now saying that. Some of these scientists, and of course they're like, they're going to be crucified, basically, because they're saying that they think some of these signals that they're getting, those burst signals, they think they may be alien in nature. And it's like, and people go, oh, that's so silly, and oh my God. And of course, other scientists are laughing at them. It's like, what are you laughing at? What makes you, again, why are we the only one ever out there in the universe? It makes no sense. And, maybe that's what they're getting. And maybe it's their form of communication because, and I think that, I actually believe they're already doing this, but the orbiters around Mars, I think they're actually sending information through laser. And if you think about it, that's not unheard of. Look at your fiber optics on your cable. It's going through light. Information is being supplied through light. And if they could do it by laser, it's a lot more pinpoint. And you can get a lot more information through that stream of light. And I think they're already doing that now. And if they're not, they're definitely working on it, and they're definitely going to get it out. So
they're working on hiding everything, eh? They're working on getting the sonic sounds and the sonic boom sounds down. They're working on hiding the satellites so that we won't see the satellites anymore. So all this stuff occurring, it's just, what the heck's going on,
Yeah, Nacho Libre. Yeah, they did do that. They send signals and they got signals back. That's what I heard too. And it showed like an older picture where they had like these old ham radios where they were actually transmitting, just like Nikola Tesla did, right?
Yeah.
He claimed that he actually sent signals to Mars and got signals back. So, is it possible?
I believe it.
That is true. And I mean, as far as radio goes back, listen, radio waves travel, man. They just travel and travel and travel. And depending on what kind of radio wave or what signal it is, whether it's, 2 gigahertz or amplitude modulation, which is AM, FM, frequency modulation, FM, shortwave, these things can travel a long distance, especially, and if you guys are into radio at all and CBs and stuff, which I was in a big way, I used to shoot a lot of skip around the world.
We're going to have to talk about that, Chris.
Yeah, I used to shoot skip all the way around the world, running 1,000 watts out of my house. And it was nothing to talk to New Zealand, to Alaska, things like that. But now picture nothing being in the way. Picture no obstruction at all from one planet to another. other than maybe the sun a little bit, maybe having a little bit, but depending on the frequency that you're on, you can transmit a lot faster and further and a lot better quality, right?
They're working on a new band too. Did you hear that? The recent, isn't it the 29E that was destroyed? I'm not sure, but they did send up a satellite. Isn't it DARPA, if I'm not mistaken?
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but it's a new technology, a higher band or a lower band frequency for communications, apparently for the military. And that's kind of interesting. So now they're going to have frequencies that we have no idea about, which
Never
will
heard about.
be found again, like we just did.
Yeah.
That's what I believe. When we're finding stuff on the moon, they're maybe gonna do some stuff to hide it, to change it. Again, we can't see it, so you never know.
Yep. Well, and here's the thing too. If you really think about it, how do we know that another civilization out there, maybe they're transmitting, but they're on a total band we don't even know anything about?
There you go. But
That's a perfect example when you mentioned about they want to make a different band. Now they may be. I'm not sure how that goes, but if they go up in a different frequency, they might be intertwining another frequency with that frequency. So you got to transmit and receive into one. You know what I mean? It's hard to, because it's kind of like the ISS satellite. You got like a downlink. Anybody can listen. You got a good scanner. It's on 145.800 megahertz, and you can listen to them. I can listen to them all day long. In fact, I've had my scanner on.
Talking about the skip a second ago, like the skip with a CB. I hear people all the way up in Florida.
Yeah.
In the afternoon, because it's just the traffic. So what happens is all the waves, the accumulation of people talking, it accumulates, and then that high wave goes all the way to Florida, to Quebec. We get a good connection, and that's what they're doing with the waves. So they're gonna. But that's interesting what you said through the waves, though. What do they like? What did they can't?
It's almost like what they call it's like a twisting of the frequency. To put like different frequencies into one.
Well, that's why they want to go higher. That's why DARPA says he now wants to go higher or lower, because there's so much going on in the center. They want to go over, across, or through some other way to be able.
Yep.
Secretive, a space force and a new communications in space. That's going to be something else. So where are they going to put the tower on Earth?
Great question.
Towers, those big secret satellite towers, it'll be probably targeted by many other countries. Sure. Miss Gordon. Would have been one mighty big heat wave, yes. Heat wave.
I don't know. A lot of people have been bringing that up. You ever heard that about the 5G? Like, oh, they're out to get us and everything. I don't believe that's the case. I think it's just nothing more than a band. I mean, he started, obviously regular crap, and then he went to 2G, 3G, 4G, up to 5 and stuff like that. It's no different than your bandwidth on your computer, right? You get a lot more higher speed depending on what you're at. You can go from like regular coaxial up to fiber optics, and of course your speed's a whole lot greater. It goes by light. It's basically light.
Did you see what people are saying about it, though? I mean...
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. If you've ever been on, this is the truth. If you've ever had a small business band radio, which is like, let's say you put it at 151.900 megahertz, and you got the small rubber ducky, they call them the rubber ducky at the back of the, transmit that thing and watch what happens. It literally will make your face feel like you're burning, and your hair will tingle. It's weird as hell.
Yeah.
So depending on the frequency, yes, it can be dangerous to you. This is the reason why I'm glad I don't live next to a cell tower, because that's not good. But hey, growing an extra arm out of your chest, what's the big deal? But you know what I'm saying, though? It's like, it can be dangerous depending on the frequency of the transmitter that's near you. Absolutely. But
then you think MKULTRA and what they're doing. So instead of getting into detail with that, it's just simply a frequency that is tuned into you. They're saying the MKULTRA. How are they control? How does mind control work? It's not done.
I don't know. See, that's what I'm saying. Because you can have music that can either make you feel sick, or it can actually make you feel better. And I'm talking about vibrational wise. I'm not talking about like, I hate rap or I hate this. I'm not talking about that kind of crap. I'm talking about just a frequency of these music. Now, Satsuki just said that. What are your both opinions on the space music that the astronauts reported on the moon? They also reported seeing thousands of these small lights all around the craft. And, I think they actually heard that, because you can, and I think they actually, I'm trying to remember if they actually had a video bite or an audio bite of that, where you could actually hear this in the background. They could hear it.
They could hear, I'll tell you what it sounded like. It sounded like hundreds of people banging in a tunnel. That's what I could hear. Talking. like again,
Yeah, it was like this weird high pitched kind of sound.
yeah,
It was just weird, man. It was just like,
it sounded.
now, were they just hearing these things? Was it all, I mean, mass delusion? You know, what was that? You know, I don't think so. You know, maybe they, listen, maybe what they call, there's what they call an intermod, which is basically you transmit on one frequency and it interferes with another. How do we know? How do we know that they wasn't interfering with their radio on the capsules or in their communication set down there, and it was messing with their intermods, because they were actually going around the moon at the time when I think they were going towards the backside of it, of the moon, when they heard that. So it makes you wonder. You know, it's like, what's really going on that moon, man?
Definitely. So you know what? They're really hiding from the Russia and the other countries, right? America, like, I mean, let's be honest. America, when they go up in space, they don't want any other country for national security to know what they're doing. So
Absolutely.
imagine everything that they're doing just to be able sometimes to get across a part of the sky without seeing. So that's that space war. That for me is a real glimpse of where I can see where space wars could come into. I mean, it's not going to be funny when they start using those frequency waves and laser beams and stuff. So you must agree with me. Humans cannot have that technology. It's like giving a little.
Yeah, I mean,
give a little. Yeah. I'm going to give a kid a sucker. I'm going to stick him in a room. I'm going to say, you cannot touch that sucker. Out of 15,
you know damn well they're going to go after it.
Out of 15 kids, you'll be sure to 14 are going to touch the sucker.
Yeah.
And that's how it is. We have power down here, and like you said, I do believe aliens will interact or intervene if something happens that humans are over using their forces for power. So what are they going to do when they see us up there? But they're going to shoot down satellites. That's what they're going to do.
Well, they had, I don't know if you've seen it, but the military had, it looked like a flat dish kind of thing. It was like a grid dish on the back of the vehicle. And what they did was they said, listen, we're going to show you what this thing is capable of doing. They had a couple of these people, they were like 100 feet away or a couple hundred feet away, and they turned this thing on. They literally said, and basically it's on the microwave band. So when they hit him with it, they all keeled over, and they said it felt like we've been burned from the inside.
Yeah.
Think about that. We don't have to shoot you. All we got to do is barbecue you.
Yeah.
I mean, think about how crazy that sounds. I mean, literally, they just point at you, goes, and you just roast from the inside out.
Exactly.
They kill you without shooting you. So now picture a massive weapon like that from space. Of course, it'd have to be ungodly power to be able to do that, but not the point. You know, they're trying to think of alternative ways to kill and take people out without actually having to use, like, nuclear, anything like that. Think about it. That's crazy.
Excuse me.
What?
The children should lead.
Oh, what did he say? Oh, John Thompson. The pyramids were not made by just man. You're right. I mean, the way they describe it in their ancient text was that they were helped by the overseers, and that's the way they write it in their text. They're overseers and their fathers, I think they said.
Check YouTube, Chris. Sorry to cut you off. I think they're having problems with EDUB, so just double check if EDUB comes up.
Okay.
All right. Sorry, man.
Oh, you're fine. I just want to see what. Well, we'll keep an eye on them. Don't worry about nothing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, here's the thing. I mean, you just don't know, right? You know, so the technology. I mean, if they really wanted to, think about a giant EMP, electromagnetic pulse, right? If they really wanted to do that, it would put everybody in the dark ages. Unless, of course, you had electronics that were shielded from that. It would put everybody in the dark ages, like, instantly. That's crazy. It would knock everybody's. You'd be driving your car, boom. It would literally kill the computer in your car, so the car would stop running. You couldn't use your cell phone. It'd take out anything that's electronic. It would literally singe it. And back in the day, in the 1800s, late 1800s, they had a solar flare that they could literally see it burning the wires. And on regular telephone poles, it was literally burning the wires. Now, suppose you had something like that now with the technology we have. It would singe everything. Everybody would be like, boom, knocked in the dark ages.
Drastic. It'd be drastic for sure. So I'm still turning on more lights, Chris. It's almost nighttime here. The sun's almost completely down.
It's still sunny out there. I mean, it's not sunny, but it's still daylight perfectly out there.
We have the same time here. What the heck's going on?
Yeah, exactly. But see, that's what it is. You're up a whole lot more north than I am.
Yeah.
For real.
Yeah, often the trolls arrive at the same time. We see something.
Oh, it's a great question, Satsuki. There, you said, what do you think about? What do you think happened rather to the Mayan and the Egyptian civilizations? Both of them just disappeared off the face of the earth. Well, the Mayans supposedly they were chased off, and I'm trying to remember if it was. I'm trying to remember if it was the conquistadors or who it was that actually they had a war with, and supposedly they just moved away from there. And it's just weird how that works. It's like, did the people actually disappear? Did they kind of just like, I'm going to use the term like melt into the rest of the population, right? They just kind of just went out in their own way and just went. But I know the Mayans, they said that they did. But it's amazing how these people strived. I mean, some of these cities, the Mayan cities, right? They had like up to 20,000 people in each of these darn things. And yet you just look and you go, how did they get 20,000 people in these things? Because it was good sized cities, and yet they're still finding these things back in these deep jungles, and they're using radar, ground penetrating radar rather, and they're finding things that have been buried, and they're still there, like the Egyptian plateaus. I mean, the Mayans.
Incredible.
And, we still don't know everything about man. Let's just put it that way. We don't have a clue yet.
Literally buried cities.
Yes. Also heard that they found liquid mercury on. Yep. Yes. Yep. It was like a small room of it, a good-sized room that was filled with mercury, and it makes you wonder what the hell were they using that for. But they say, like if you look at the Great Pyramid of Giza, they said that thing was some kind of power plant. Now, whether that was, I don't know. But there's a lot of stuff removed from that pyramid.
Yeah.
The funny thing about it is most of those pyramids were actually for the pharaohs, the wives of the pharaohs, so on and so forth, these most important people, but yet that had no petroglyphs, hieroglyphs, or nothing in that particular, the largest pyramid. Why is that? Think about that.
Yeah. What if hi Australia, hi Christian. What if, man, like everything's buried, right? A lot of things are buried. They're unburying a lot of things around the pyramids.
Yeah.
It's going down apparently thousands and thousands of feet, and they're still finding other peaks of other tops of other structures and stuff.
Yep.
It is massive. And what they found there, I don't believe that anyone disappeared from there. And I don't believe that anything, it's that maybe this missing things like, here how we'll leave old buildings, but we'll take all the furniture out. We get the electricity wires down. We get all the fences away. But what's left? Stone. When stone is left, it's because there could be a lot of other things missing of that. I don't believe it's a burial place. I really do not believe it's
a
pyramid.
A lot of that stuff there,
running water. They have running water. They had running water.
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, did you ever see that? I mean, I don't know if you've seen that. Now, it just goes to show you, even if it was built out of stone, I think it was the ancient Greeks that had heated floors and their temples and everything. Heated floors through water.
Through water with the pipes and everything. They were
little aqueducts. They got all they got heated floors. They're like virtually palaces. So yeah, these people weren't as stupid as everybody thinks. Just because they didn't have plastic and computers doesn't mean they were dumbbells, right? They were pretty smart.
Yeah, we could see you, American Rebel. Can you, Chris, see you? Can you see American Rebel? It's a yellow icon.
He was in there earlier. I don't know if he came back on, but.
Hey, that's weird, Chris. He's right in the center, too. He was right in the center there.
Where was he next to?
Underneath is Andromeda Native. Is just underneath, and Darla's just over top. It says, Eye of Horus with a question. Question mark. No, it's funny, eh?
Well, I got a whole bunch of people in between Dollar and that one there that you said.
And I bet you I don't see the people that are in between.
Yeah, Noodles, you're right. The Baghdad battery was exciting. And it just goes to show you, because they think that they might have used electricity back in the pyramids because they couldn't find anything that had the torch marks. Like if you put a torch on there and you got it lit, they couldn't see anything that was burning the walls or anything like that. Some people think they used the copper mirrors, but then they threw that theory out the window because it would actually...
Wires. Imagine, Chris, finding wires. Imagine finding one wire. I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't even know if maybe there has been some found. I don't know, but it'd be pretty incredible, and I wouldn't be surprised seeing a wire in one of the pyramids.
Well, they said they lit it with it. They said because they couldn't find anything of like I said, the flame on the walls or nothing like that. They couldn't find any of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it makes you wonder: did they actually light the actual? Why not? Why is it hard to believe? We don't know.
Absolutely.
see. Yep, the pyramids. The pyramids were used as a source of electricity, and I think that's what the Great Pyramid was used for. And the way the what do they call it there? I keep forgetting the name of it. The long hallway there goes up through there. They said that was some kind of like electric kind of thing.
Like the connections thing. Yeah, yeah. I remember saying that. The wire, copper wire for grounding. Oh, they had copper stuff there. I thought.
Oh yeah, definitely copper. Gold. Gold is used for everything.
Yeah.
It's the best conductor out there.
Absolutely. So I think a lot of what's missing today and what's being kept, Chris, and it's just my opinion, is that the religion, what we know as religion today, before was a lot more spiritual, a lot more hands-on rituals, a lot of meditation and stuff, and that was kept away. Now today, it's more hush hush. It's more talked about. It's not the same, the religion today. Like I see them being more in these big groups of people involved with nature and really spiritually praying and stuff. And maybe, just maybe, I think it's an amazing story, even though it's just theory. Just maybe there was enough energy, because I do believe in energy from people. Maybe there's enough energy with big groups of people to do amazing things. Like communicate with another being, for example, or another side. We see some people. Have any of us ever tried it all together? No. Like 7 billion people in the center with candles singing, I don't know, I like to be the,
Kumbaya. No.
Yeah, well, would it attract people? I believe that. I believe that other planets would notice more. Why are we not now making fires? Big fires. Why are roofs all black? Why, it's all made to blend in, I believe, anyways.
Yeah, Terry Morris. Yeah, the pyramids built many thousands of years ago before the pharaohs, which I've heard to that theory, and I think it could be spot on. Lost civilization, man, goes back 10 to 100,000 of years. And you're right. I mean, before, remember, it was like, you go way back in like 70s, 80s, it was like, okay, man's like 2,500 years old or 600 years old. Then it was like 25. Now it's like 2.5 million years old. And I believe that's more the case because every time they dig up something, they literally go, oh, well, that throws that theory out the window. And they carbon date it, and it just doesn't make any sense. Or they don't even have to carbon date. They just actually see something buried under so much ground that they go, okay, how did it get where? Like, I don't remember where it was. They had they were in the coal mine, I think it was, and they literally were digging down, and they went down like hundreds of feet and bang, literally hit a brick wall.
Oh, yeah. And
I'm going, what the hell? So, this thing was there. And so they go, how did this ground bury that? It must have been over so many years, so they calculated, or at least come up with the best calculation they could, and said it was like thousands of years old.
Like the carbon dating is incredible. But the carbon dating, even the Shroud of Turin, when they were trying to decide, they say that heat, if there was a volcano, or if there was a massive explosion or something, it affects the carbon dating. Right. So the carbon dating, because of the heat or because of whatever.
We'll throw it off, yeah.
So they could maybe see it as being 25,000 years old when it could only really be 10,000 years old. That's the thing that I heard that they were saying about. It wouldn't be easy. So it's all theory, right? Basically all science is theory. Science is based on theory, I believe. We can see you, American Rebel.
Yeah, he's there. I can see him. He's got a thumbs up.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see,
he's in there.
He was a bit up to. He was a bit higher up before that you didn't see him. Probably. I don't know.
Yeah, probably not. But yeah, we're gonna actually close this out. It's been a little over 2 hours we've been on, and it's great, man. I'm glad. We started just a couple minutes after 6, and now it's I got 8:16 here.
Wow, I can't believe it. 8:16 here too. You have a son, and I have no son, so I'm definitely moving up to your end to get longer sun.
Oh yeah, hold on. Just trying to get this mic stand. I'm going, what the heck is this thing doing? But yeah, we can do this over, whenever you want to do it. We can do it like on Wednesdays. You can do whatever you want.
Do it every your channel and you want to, man. Every time we can, no problem. I loved it. I hope
to just so you know, and I've already told you this. I'm going to tell you in front of the subs and your subs. When it comes to this BS with these other people, we got your back. Don't worry about nothing. I've been through it before. I've been through it. You know it. And in fact, if any of you subs, and I've talked to you about it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Many of you subs remember this guy I went round and round with because he said I was stealing his work. And I said, guys, I made a video and I said, anybody who's got children, please let them leave the room. And by the way, if you're offended by foul language, please turn the volume down because I'm about to get belligerent.
Yeah.
And I let this guy have it, and I didn't give a damn. I was that heated. And, you know, it was funny because, like, and then I listened to his reply because he was talking about it after. Oh, he doesn't understand. If I walked up to him, he'd run. Yeah, okay, whatever. Okay, I'm scared already. But the funny thing about it is I said, oh, my God. I said, hey, buddy, I know exactly who you are. And then I showed him his picture. I literally showed him his picture, and he went like this. He looked at, and he didn't say anything after that because he knew I had him. He changed his name. He went from one channel name to another, and I pegged him. I knew exactly who he was. But anyway, different story. But, you know, you just can't let these people get to you because it'll sway you to kind of like lose your focus on what you've, you know, really intended to do and what you're good at. So just keep doing it, you know.
Wow, thank you very much, Satsuki Buns. And I want to say thank you to your community, Chris, for, I know they already come by, and probably most of the people that are here that I'm recognizing is because they came from Mars Anomalies. We'll do this more often, Chris, definitely. And
yeah.
I'm happy I saw my community come by, too. So, no,
oh, yeah.
I say my community. I think we have a lot of similar people following
We
that.
do. I've noticed that, too, because I can go over to yours and see a lot of mine. And it's like, which is, I think, is awesome because here's the thing.
France here too, guys. Merci la France.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I mean, I look at it this way. You know, if you can get a whole bunch of people, you know, they're just well-rounded. In other words, they're seeing things on the moon. They're jumping back, see what's on on Mars. And I do some things on the moon, too. Do all this stuff. I want to get, like, you know, I want to suck in as much information as I can. So I do the same thing. I got channels I listen to and watch
Chris,
and stuff like that.
you know what I have to do is you're going to have to show me and give me a course. I've always wanted to interview people. So when I do this with you, and I'm hoping I'm doing it in a couple of days or whenever we can, because I want to talk about you and interview you too. But it's going to be the same thing. You're going to have to tell me how to get these bloody double channels up during live streaming to do an interview, because
Right.
I have some other options. It's not exactly what you're doing, I think, because everyone interviews differently. Every time one of you guys say, let's do an interview, you're all using a bunch of different programs. So I'm going to have to look into some of that. But anyways. Thanks, guys. 1964 Sleepy.
Bruce, they better think twice picking on you. I promise we will fight with you. You need...
Shout out to
if
Antar.
you need anything, Chris and everyone else here we support you, Bruce. So.
Thanks very much, guys. That's amazing.
I don't know why that's not. I'm gonna go ahead and just right there. Boom. Should be right there now. Thank you, Melanie. We appreciate that. Just trying to just tell it like it is and do the best we can and just basically tell the truth, man. I mean, all we can do is like show you the anomalies like you do, Bruce. You do it differently. The only difference is you're doing it like on the moon, right?
Yeah.
And I do some of the moon, but I do more Mars. So I try to bounce back and forth because people love both. And we just try to describe it the best we know how. And like I tell everybody, and I ask them, am I always accurate? Hell no. You know what I mean? But you do the best you can. You're saying, you know, it kind of looks like this because of what I see here on Earth. And it kind of looks like this. What do you guys think it is?
Absolutely. Yeah.
We just come up with our own conclusions.
Yeah. Yes, I do know Alien Hunter's channel. It's a great channel. You guys can check him out too.
Yeah, he actually is a good channel, man. I've actually covered some of his work. Go check him out. He's got some good work. He does some really good work.
Encouraging other channels. He's doing a good job on the moon, looking for some nice close-up. He gets into them. Badass too.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he does. Blue Utopia, thanks again, man. Appreciate that. Good job. See you on Sunday. Good night from France. Will you have yourself a good night as well?
Bonsoir la France. Bye, Joël.
Yeah, my audio's still low. Maybe I turned it down a little bit. Who knows? It's hard to tell.
I think, did I attract the trolls this time? Because I'm pretty sure he doesn't have that many trolls usually.
Oh, yeah, but it's good to have them, though.
Yeah.
It has that nice, healthy balance, you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, you get these people that, oh, yeah, so full of crap and all this other stuff, and it's like, you know what? I think it's laughable. Everybody needs a good laugh once in a while.
For sure. Absolutely.
But anyway, guys, I do appreciate you guys jumping in there. I wanted to get Bruce on there because, you know what? He's a good guy. He does his thing. Some of you guys ask questions about him. Say, hey, you know, do you think he's on the up and up? And I absolutely believe he is. And I think anybody, I don't care what you're trying to show on your channel. If your heart's in the right place and it's for the right reasons, then I back any channel. I don't care what substance it is. I don't care if it's about working on car engines or whatever. You're not trying to blow smoke up people's rear ends. It's all about just, you know, tell it like it is. Right. And again, are we 100% accurate all the time? Probably not.
No.
And I'm okay with that. You know what I mean?
Raw truth. We just show raw truth, but we give our opinions, and that's the thing. And sometimes it's the opinions that go and get somebody. Sometimes, but It's just opinions, and we see
Right, exactly.
it changes every day. It changes every day. I'm always seeing something new, and sometimes my opinions can change.
Well, yeah, they're going to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But anyway, like I said, I don't know if that volume's up a little bit better, guys. But anyway, we're going to be signing off. And like I said, I appreciate everybody coming over from your channel, Bruce, as well as mine jumping in there because they're always great people anyway.
thanks,
And
Scott.
looks like you guys got a great community on your end as well. So we definitely will be doing this again, guys. If I'm jumping on Bruce's channel or back on mine, it doesn't really matter to me. We'll definitely be doing it again because.
Let Chris do the work, and that way I won't have to. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Nice, nice.
Is working at it now. Right now, he's looking left and right, and you got to look. People don't see the background sometimes. Like right now, I have to have YouTube open. I have Chris in front of me, and I have the. It's not easy. It's not easy, but it's fun.
No, I got you on this one. I've got my recording software on this one. I'm watching YouTube actually on there live right now, so I'm making sure everything's working, volume's working, and everything else. And yeah, it's a little bit involved, but it can be done.
Good night, America.
Anyway,
thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone.
thank you, Divine Caitlin. I think, yeah, okay. Divine Catalan? I think it is. I could be wrong. I'm sorry if I screwed it up. But anyway, thanks everybody for jumping in there, and thanks Bruce for being here as well. I know you're a busy man yourself, so I appreciate that.
We do it again,
guys. We will do this again. So we'll let you know. We'll give you heads up on it when we'll be doing it. And
now you have our president numbers. You have the number of the president directly, so
exactly. Yeah, so we're good. But yeah, you do your live on 8 o'clock on Friday night, right, Eastern time.
Absolutely.
So he does a live feed then. I do mine on Sunday at 8. I moved mine from 8 o'clock down to 7 to make it easier for you guys because it is a Sunday night, right?
Yeah, because I guess because of the time change with UK and everything.
It sucks, yeah. And I'm trying to work with these guys too because it's only fair.
I'm live streaming in the morning now for France, also in Australia. So Friday I do 8 a.m. and 11. Anyways, morning and night. Morning and night it'll be up on the channel.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us. Always appreciate you guys being there and asking the questions and interacting. You guys are awesome. You guys have yourself a good night and a good morning or a good day, depending on where you're at. And we'll see you guys soon.
Bye, guys. Thanks a lot, Chris.